All right, welcome everyone to episode 4 of Bad Plans D&D. My name is Jay Grenier, the Dungeon Master, and together with these excellent people, we're going to play some Dungeons & Dragons. We play every Wednesday night at 9 Central here on Twitch, and if you happen to miss any of these episodes or just feel like watching them again, you can always catch them on our YouTube channel. We are a brand new channel on Twitch, on YouTube, on everything, so if you're not already, please consider subscribing on YouTube, following us here on Twitch. It actually helps us out a lot, especially in the beginning, just trying to get the channel off the ground. And if you got any friends and family who you think might like the stuff, then let them know. Since we're brand new, trying to get the word out, trying to get some, as many people to check this thing out as we can. We just hit affiliate, so that's pretty awesome. So congratulations, everybody. We're not actually set up for affiliate yet, because on Twitch, once you kind of hit that milestone, it takes a little while. You got to go through all sorts of setup stuff with them. But we did reach it, so nice job to everyone. And thank you very much to all of you guys.
That is my attempt at the air.
Nice.
The air horn. That's pretty good.
Yeah, if you're a beaker.
Clearly voice actor.
Yes.
It is St. Patty's Day, so we're celebrating. I'm drinking a harp. I know Jeshy's got a 13% something or other going on over there. So if a monster doesn't eat him this session, then he'll probably just pass out anyway. So we'll see if we can make it to the end. But yeah, and I think before we get into the game and our recap, we have some other stuff going on. So I'll pass to you guys.
Yeah, so in honor of St. Patrick's Day, and also we hit 100 followers, so that is really, really cool. We are going to do our first giveaway. So be sure to, at 10:30, which is when we're going to do our intermission, be sure you're following us, and we're going to have a little prompt for you to enter the giveaway. We are giving away a copy of Candlekeep Mysteries, which is the new D&D book that has like 17 different little mini adventures. But if you're new to D&D and you don't want the Candlekeep Mysteries, you can also get the D&D starter set. So be sure to enter at 10:30, before 10:30.
Yeah, you should definitely enter before 10:30.
Yeah.
Or you'll miss it.
You will miss it.
Yeah.
I love how your koozie is Halloween themed. Like, I saw that and I was like, yes, please. Can I have one?
It's on brand, right?
Yeah. For sure. So how can they enter, Belrissa? Jamie?
It's a exclamation point giveaway. You type that in chat, and then you're entered. It's like magic.
Exclamation point giveaway. That seems easy to remember. And it's in the title. So if you forget, just... look. Oh, hold on. You know what would be good?
We have to make it live. We have to make it live.
Let's start the giveaway first.
Oh, yes.
Hold on, I gotta click the button. Hold on, stand by.
Wait! It's St. Patty's Day. Hold on.
This is bad plans.
All this
have not supposed to have started yet.
Bad plans.
Stay on.
Guys.
There we
Boom.
go.
Now you can hit exclamation giveaway.
Now
There it
there
is. See how fast Jared was?
First entry.
Jared had that copy pasted.
he has been waiting for that.
Heck
all
yes.
Day. All day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at all
Also,
those-
major props to all of y'all for following us and helping us get to affiliate, because those views, watching, hanging out with us. I don't know, we're weirdos, so it's a lot of fun to have y'all be here to help us with this.
Take it back.
Take it back.
Jeshy is super normal.
Jeshy is the most normal out of all of us.
Thank you.
At getting grappled.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of people joining. That's great.
Yay.
Very happy about that. Are we ready?
Yeah.
So ready.
We're ready.
Anything else
I'm
going
ready.
on? All right. We're gonna fight some leprechauns. We're gonna find some.
What are we
find a
doing
pot of
again?
gold. It's gonna be awesome. Just wait. All right. After less than a day in the village of Portsmouth, you boarded a fishing boat headed for the mysterious island of Thunderstone. The town has run dangerously low on critical resources like iron, and there are rumors of an old dwarven mine on the island. So, at the behest of Remus, the town's alderman, you're on your way to find it and see if you can get to it. The ship is captained by a man named Cobb, a crotchety old sailor who, according to Remus, is the only one daft enough to sail anywhere near Thunderstone. Most won't go near it due to the never-ending, seemingly magical storm that surrounds it at all times that violently repels any ship. The island's only a few miles off the coast, but the trip was far from calm. Cobb is known for fishing silver spines, which are giant 15-foot long, elongated, eel-like fish with razor-sharp spines running across the ridge of their backs. He ultimately won the catch as one approached the boat, but not before something else came after it. The frothing, chummed water, and potentially something about the party itself, drew more creatures to the ship. 2 massive chulls, large crab-like creatures with colossal snapping pincers, attacked the ship and the crew. After almost losing Jeshi, again, you were ultimately victorious. Not long after, the winds took you to the edge of the squall surrounding Thunderstone. As fierce hail, thunderous lightning, and furious winds threatened to rip the boat in two and send you to the bottom of the briny deep, Kins ran to the front of the ship, 1 foot up on the rail, holding fast on the bowsprit. With the spray of the sea in her face, she looked up into the might and ferocity of the epic storm, and she cast her spell. Her druidic powers flowing through her, she concentrated all of her might on the clouds above. The storm obeyed her call. Like the snuffing of a candle, the wind suddenly ceased, the swell of the sea calmed, and the door to the island was open. Not long after, you found yourself gliding across calm waters towards a derelict dock on the south side of the island. As an eerie mist covered the water, you felt a piercing sensation of being watched. Glancing down, you noticed eyes in the water. So, what's the plan?
What are these things? What are these things?
These eyes? Like, are they on every part of the boat? Just one side of the boat? Like, where are these eyes? Are we? And how far from the shore are we? Like, are they?
So many questions.
So many questions. Yes. Like, as we look out, though, I mean, we just came through the storm thing, trying to get the bearings. How far from land? Land is the goal.
Perception checks?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna ask Thorkim definitely. What are these things?
What are these
Kins,
things?
Kins is just she moves off like away from the front, off to the side, and just crouches down, not talking to anyone.
Cobb is at the back of the boat, and if you remember, there's sort of a rudder slash oar type of thing in the back of the boat that he's using to just sort of very gently bring the boat in through the inlet. His granddaughter Velma has moved up to the front of the ship, just instinctively getting ready to toss a rope and to tie up to this dock. You guys are probably about 100 feet from it at this point as you drift up. What's everybody
And
doing?
there's an actual dock?
There is a
Sorry,
dock.
I missed it. Okay.
Yeah, it's quite large too. It's very old. It's clear even from this distance and in the thick mist, you can see that this dock was probably once quite big and grand, but at this point it's old, it's falling apart. You can see some of the pylons that reach about 6 feet above the planks. Some of them are kind of crooked and falling over, and even from here you can see the greenish tint of the molded, old rotting wood.
So when you say eyes in the water, are we talking about like a couple eyes or like hundreds of eyes?
Big eyes, small eyes.
Yeah, so are it human eyes, reptilian eyes,
You'll
fish
have to
eyes?
take a look.
Googly eyes.
I'm leaning
Yeah.
way over the edge of the boat and looking.
Okay, make a perception check. Is anyone else looking, or is it just Belrose?
I am, yes.
Okay.
I'm definitely looking at the eyes, yeah. Huh? 6.
Are you though? Oh,
Ooh,
Marissa.
19.
Nice.
I'm taking my passive at 18.
Okay, so an 18 and a 19, and Jeshi is just, being, doing his thing, like usual.
She has no passive perception by rule.
When you first noticed the eyes, it was almost in your peripheral. You were kind of looking down, and for a second you thought maybe you'd imagined it. You peered over, and for a split second you see them, green, several sets of eyes. But as soon as you see them, as soon as they're there, they're gone, and they disappear into the water. It's hard to tell. You guys both feel like you got a pretty good look into the water, and it's hard to tell if you were just seeing things, maybe it was a reflection of something, or maybe they just, maybe there were eyes and now they're gone. You're not 100% sure.
All right.
Do not
Carry
like,
on.
but I
Yeah,
like
I mean,
land
to the-
better.
To the dock.
Yeah, let's get out of the
So
water.
I'm going to go back to Ken's, just see if I can make eye contact. That was interesting.
Yeah, I didn't think that I would be able to control it so easily.
I mean, have you ever controlled a storm that big before? We've never seen you do anything like that before. Like, where did that come from?
No, I haven't. I don't know. I wasn't expecting that.
It kind of changed the whole way I see this island potentially. I mean, at least you seem like a potential friend to whatever this is. So I don't know, but man, if we can be friends with whatever caused that, that seems like a good thing. Not sure if it's a possible thing, but it seems like it would be a good thing. So, you know, if you got any more of those druid tricks up your sleeve as we get in, feel free.
Druid tricks. Yeah. So I do like a sort of Vin helps me lose whatever it was that I was doing, and I slowly stand up and inch closer to the others.
As you walk up back kind of towards the others, you hear sort of a grunt, if that's what you'd kind of imagine it as, from Cobb, who kind of groans a little bit and you look over and you follow his eye line, and he's looking out in front of the ship. And out ahead of the bow, the glassy water shifts and a wake builds as something swims rapidly towards the shore and into the mist. A few seconds later, you hear a light splash and can vaguely make out the shape of a humanoid creature climbing out of the water. As the bastion draws closer to the large dock, 3 broad figures come into view at the far end of it. 2 of them pause. The other begins walking out onto the dock towards you. What are you guys doing?
Leaning back and observing. I'm not good at talking.
I'm glancing over at Belrissa.
Yeah, I'll walk up and I'll wave like, "Hello there."
I'll walk closely following Belrissa, like right beside her. Not saying anything though.
As the bow of the ship gently rocks up against one of the dock's pylons, a roughly 5-foot-tall, squat figure approaches and emerges from the mist. It has reptilian features. Its skin a greenish, mossy color, and covering most of its back is a wide, thick, oval-shaped shell. It carries what looks like a staff, or perhaps a walking stick maybe, as it casually sort of ambles towards you. The clop of the wooden staff on the old planks of the dock echoes across the morning mist. As the turtle reaches the end of the dock, it extends a hand, nods its head slightly, and just seems to stop, waiting for a response.
I ask, was that you we saw in the water over there?
It kind of walks to the end, and it looks to you and just, And it holds out its arm as Velma is sort of so Velma, as you recall, is a 17-year-old girl, kind of learning the ropes, literally from her grandfather Cobb, on how to be a sailor, how to be a fisherman. So she's just kind of doing her normal thing, standing up at the bow of the ship, getting ready to tie it up as this turtle kind of walks up, and you can see the look on her face is just one of, what the heck am I supposed to do right now? And she keeps glancing back at you guys, because she's kind of the one right up at the front, and Cobb just sort of looks at her and just gives her this, this reassuring sort of nod, and she kind of like, her chin comes up a little bit. The turtle walks up, and he looks over at Velma. Your rope. Throw it to me. She kind of looks over at Cobb and gives her a nod again, and sure enough, she tosses him the rope. The turtle kind of bends down one knee. As it moves, you get kind of a closer look at it. It moves very slow, and in order to sort of bend down, it has to sort of shift its weight in kind of an awkward way, bend one knee down. But once it kind of gets moving, it actually moves pretty quickly, and it grabs the rope and ties sort of a hitch around one of the pylons and gets back up and lays staff down, reaches out, sort of pulls the boat in and helps stabilize it. Velma at that point has reached out with another rope and kind of ties up the rest of the dock. The turtle kind of stands up and takes a few steps back. You can see now that you're closer that at the far end of the dock there's two more turtles. One's a bit shorter than the other two, but they're just sort of standing there very calmly. The one that's out in the front just sort of steps back, seems to be eyeing the boat, like just very intently, just got this sort of it's hard to tell the facial expression. It's a very sort of thick, sort of very hard expression, you know, with these bony features and the reptilian skin. But he's definitely starts barking. He's definitely looking around the boat, just kind of eyeing everything. And Thorcum, you catch him kind of stop on the fish, and you swear you see a little like, and he seems fairly interested in the body of the silver spine, as well as the body of the chull, which is half of it anyway, which is still kind of on the deck on the starboard side. But after a second or two, he steps back and he says, "The great squall does not make way for many. Nobody else has come here for a long time." He just kind of keeps looking around and doesn't really say anything else.
I'm gonna nudge Kins. I'm like, that was you. Made way for you.
Why is that?
Are you guys all just staying on the boat at this point?
Oh no, I'm trying to get off. I'll try to do it, very elegantly. I'd like to like jump on the one foot on the like post of the dock and then right down in front of the turtle.
Okay, make a quick dexterity check as you try to impress the turtle by gracefully climbing out of the boat.
7.
Okay, you get about halfway and you put your foot up on the dock, and the morning mist has coated everything in this sort of dew, and everything's just moist and kind of slippery. But so you step up and you get about halfway there, and you're absolutely certain that you've made it, and then your foot comes out from under you and you sort of like fall down on one knee, as if bowing to the turtle.
I am Jeshti. Hello.
It sort of steps back instinctively, faster than you'd expect. It's quick when it needs to be, and it kind of backs up and immediately kind of calms. He says, and he just kind of looks over. Doesn't seem to speak too much. What's everybody else doing at this point?
I'll have 14 start unloading the chull from the back of the ship.
Okay.
Because it's still weighing everything down, right?
Yeah.
And Cobb wants. I
yeah.
figure Cobb wants
low.
the silver spine, and I mean, I'm just gonna have 14 start dragging it to shore.
Okay. So we'll say for the sake of brevity that you guys all sort of make your way off the boat.
Yeah.
Unless somebody specifically doesn't want to leave the boat.
Or I'm getting off, but Ziggy's gonna trot up and trot very gently up, and then like do the thing on the turtoid's leg.
And you see what kind of looks like an awkward smile on the face of this turtle.
Turtle.
And he kind of looks down and he says, "Now that is a fascinating creature. I've never seen one of those."
That's Ziggy. He's cool.
He looks back up.
Just a quick question, DM. Have we ever seen a turtle before?
Well, I would say those of you who grew up in Great Haven probably have never seen a turtle. But if you've read a few books, you've probably heard of the existence of turtles. Maybe Thorcum and possibly Kins, you may have seen or had some contact with turtles. They're in the world, they're incredibly rare. They're migratory, so they're never really in one place for a long time. They tend to be on the coasts because they're amphibious. They kind of live, of course, in the water and on land. Great Haven being landlocked, is not. There would never be great turtles anywhere near the city of Great Haven. So you guys probably have never seen one of these before.
Yeah, I'll just comment on that. You all seem pretty unsurprised to see us, but this is my first time meeting one of your kind. I mean, a turtle, I assume, from the books I've read. But you say this squall doesn't open often, and yet you don't seem all that shocked to see us come out. What do you know of the outside world as we walk? I assume are they walking, or are they just kind of sitting there on the edge?
Yeah, at this point, we'll say by the time you finish asking your question, everybody has sort of made their way off the boat. It takes a minute just because of the boat isn't huge, so you all kind of have to exit at one spot, and a couple times the turtle reaches out, sort of a scaly arm to provide a little stabilization as you guys climb out. And but everybody is now sort of congregated on the end of this dock and has started to meander back towards the end. You can now see clearly that there are two other turtles, and one of them has what looks to be sort of a long quarterstaff, maybe a spear, kind of across its back, and the other one appears to be much shorter and is sort of leaning into the taller one, as they're just sort of patiently waiting down at the end for you. But the one that's next to you, he looks, responding to your question. He turns and starts to walk, and he brings his walking stick back out, and he says, "It's true that not many come here, but we go many places. My kind are. We travel, we move around. We've seen many people like you. Not around here. There's that town not too far, but we stay clear. They don't like us very much. Down south, there's another large town full of people like you. But I hit this place, this island, I ain't never seen a group like you come through the storm like that."
When he mentions a town south, does that ring a bell, or does that seem...
No.
Okay.
That is surprising to all of you.
Surprising. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
None of you are aware of a settlement further south than this.
How long have you all been on this island? I mean, the stories we heard says no one's been here for 60, 70, 80 years, potentially.
Well, all of us, we were born here.
Oh.
We return here to hatch our young. My father, and he references, at this point you've gotten almost to the end of the dock, and you can clearly see now that one of the turtles appears extremely old. Even though you've never seen these creatures before, it's just sort of obvious, the posture. He's hunched over. You could see that the reptilian sort of scaly skin is more wrinkled and worn, and you can see that there are scars, and you can see that there's just there's cracks in its shell, and it just appears much older, and you can also see that it's clearly sort of leaning. Just the effort to be standing here is difficult for this creature, as it's sort of being supported by this other one that's holding it up. And the one you're walking with, he says, "My father has been here since he was young. We all travel. We all leave. And we see each other when we come back once a year, so this is my father's last time returning. My brother and I are here to pay our respects."
So you travel through the storm as well.
The storm has never been a problem for us. It seems to know that we've been here our whole lives. My father was here before the storm. He says it will allow us to come and go as we please.
Do you Do you know how the storm started?
These are not the type of things that I know. But I know that when I was young, there were a lot of people here just like yourselves. There were...
Do you swim under it?
He kind of looks back, and as you guys are walking, he says, "Indeed, that is the
Because I
easiest
actually
way
thought
for
about
us."
that. Like, we thought about that strategy too.
Says
I'm
that.
glad that this is good proof that it would have worked.
I believe if you could swim, that would have worked. But you do not strike me as a good swimmer, sir.
That might be true.
You get to the end of the dock now, and the second one speaks up, the taller one, not the father, and he says, "Stewart, you ask him about that fish, 'cause I want some of that fish. Tell him I'll fix their broken boat."
Can we hear him say that?
Yeah, you're like right next to him, and he's talking directly past you, like.
All right, Joshi just like looks around.
I'm going to pull Vin back for a second. I'm having 14 bring the Chol in, and this is not completely audible. I'm going to take a look around.
Okay, make a perception check. In fact, anybody, you're all now at the end of the dock, and you're standing with these three turtles who, the vibe is interesting because they seem to just be completely nonchalant. They're interested yet not surprised that you're there, and they seem to be just completely comfortable, talking to you guys as if, they've known you for a long time. And you look around, and everybody's just kind of standing there. It's like that awkward small talk, in a group of people. So anybody who's looking around, make a perception check.
23.
Nice.
23 is really good. If anybody's in the chat right now who's never played Dungeons and Dragons, the way the game works generally is, as the dungeon master, I'll call for what's called a check. In this case, it's perception, which is like, what do you perceive? What do you see around you? And these guys are trying to, get the lay of the land, try to figure out, they've just landed on this new island, so what do they see, right? What is it like? What does it smell like? What do they see? What do they hear? To try to gather information.
I rolled a 3.
Can I do a perception, but like more focused on the people still, rather than like looking around?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Jesse or Vinadil, are you rolling?
Not rolling.
Okay,
No.
got it. All right, so Belrissa rolled a 3, which is really terrible. So she doesn't see really anything.
Sand.
Yeah.
Turtles.
A gust of wind just blows sand in your eyes, and you're just like, no. Actually, Ziggy, your cat, has started to basically like try to scratch up the leg of the old turtle, and
No.
it can't, like, the turtle can't like move fast enough, and it's
Aw.
and you like rush over, so you're not really paying attention. You're trying to grab the cat.
Is that Turtle Stewart? Is that who the guy turned to, or no?
Stewart is the one you've been talking to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or at least what the other one addressed him as. Kins, what did you roll?
22.
22 and a 23. Okay, those are monstrously good rolls. Really nice job. Okay, so what are you looking for anything specific? Any particular attributes about these people that you're trying to see?
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to notice. So like they're obviously not surprised, but like what is that vibe like? And if there's anything from their faces that's giving me additional nuanced information.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so you get a pretty good look. You've kind of been real quiet. You've been in a bit of a mood since the event. So you've just been kind of focused and paying attention. And all three of the turtles can't take their eyes off the Chol. They're very, very interested in the fish that you've brought to the island. They seem way more interested in that than you guys. They've been polite. They've been, very casual. They don't seem intimidated in the slightest by your presence or concerned or anything like that in any way. The taller one that you haven't actually talked to yet is like scowling a little bit, as if this conversation has gone on far too long and he just wants the dang fish. Like that's kind of the read you get on this guy. Thorcum, as you're looking around, what you're seeing is that this used to be a port. Clearly, there is an old boathouse that is just in ruins. It's a combination of a stone foundation that has just eroded away and is just completely storm worn. You can see that the dock itself, the only reason it's still standing is because it was clearly very well built when it was built, probably at least 100 years ago. All around, you can see that there's stone benches. You can see that there is what looks to be probably at one point was a pretty well-traveled path that leads to the north. You guys are on the south side of the island in sort of an inlet, a small bay that is, and one of the features that you noticed last time as you were coming through was that there are these stone, almost spikes that look like they've been magically pulled from the water, almost in the form of a palisade wall, and they sort of guard the rocky shoreline, except for this one sliver that you were able to maneuver the boat through. And but your big takeaway is that this used to be something. There used to be buildings, there used to be architecture here. In addition to that, you can see that there's a small dune that you can, you're going to have to sort of walk up, probably a 6 foot high, small, grassy, sandy dune. But on the other side of that, you can clearly see what looks to be a marsh, salt marsh. You can see scrubby cedar trees in the distance, and most of all, you smell it. It's that low tide kind of sulfurous, rotting peat moss kind of typical smell that you're going to get from a seaside marsh. It doesn't seem to bother the turtles at all, but you guys are kind of being assaulted by the smell, as it's just, you've spent a few days on the water, recently, but this is real bad. It's very pungent. So that is what you see.
So after Kins notices the faces, who I'm assuming are not looking at me at all, just looking at this chol, I'll say to them, "Oh, we've had a long day. How about we all eat this together? Do you want to direct us to where we can have a feast?"
The tall one steps forward, says, and right as he's about to speak, Stuart kind of steps forward and holds up his hand. He says, "We can do that right here. And this is about the best place we're going to find for that. You do not want to go any further in." And he just reaches down, like almost taking what you've said as sort of a
invitation.
As an invitation, and the two of them sort of bend down and pull out, what looks to be like one of them has like maybe a flint dagger or some sort of stone tool, and just starts cracking the shell, and just going for it.
Like, is he eating it or just cracking?
Right now they're just cracking it, like they're prepping it, like they know what to do, like they're going for it.
So, are you the only ones on the island? Do you have a camp somewhere? Maybe a fire to cook the chol? Roast the chol?
No,
You hear like-
broiled,
You hear like a,
Just
steamed.
any kind of non-raw chol. What
you hear like a snort from the tall one, and like just sort of almost like you kind of think maybe he's laughing at you a little bit, but Stuart says, "Oh, we ain't gonna cook. We're gonna eat this good and raw. That's the best way. Now, if you want to cook it, you're free to make a fire on the beach right there. I know that's what you like to do. I have seen that. But we will not be cooking this. If you want a feast, we can prepare it in the way that we know best."
Sounds good.
I'm gonna turn to Cobb. Like, is it safe to eat raw?
Yeah.
Have you ever done that before?
I also stare at Cobb's face.
Cobb.
Roll for someone else.
So a minute or two ago, Cobb was just kind of like noped the F out. He was just like, he was on the dock, and Velma was kind of looking forward, just absolutely like flabbergasted at what she's seeing, and Cobb has been in this very. Cobb talks, you know. He's a sailor. He's a captain, right? He's barking orders. He's talking a lot, and he hasn't said more than 5 words since you came through the storm. He's just been just totally kind of blown away by what's going on. But he has walked back towards the ship at this point. At this time, the older turtle starts to sort of really delicately move forward, and as soon as he does, Stuart notices, and he drops his tool and he immediately gets up and just sort of helps his father kind of come over. And him and his brother, they sit this older turtle down, and the brother looks like he cuts off a piece of meat and he kind of hands it to the father, and you can see that his face, you know, he's got this really, really old wrinkly face. He's got this really big sort of underbite that, you know, is this almost that snapping turtle kind of face, and he's just sort of has to, like, you know, he's obviously very old, very elderly, but seems to really enjoy the meat. And after a few seconds, he says, I have been here a long time. I am very interested to know why you are here.
I'll step up to him. Yes, sir. We're here because, first of all, you know that town across the way that doesn't like y'all? We just got there. I'm not sure they like us very much either. And they absolutely hate that guy. And I point at Cobb.
Cobb goes,
I like him.
Stuart speaks up briefly and he says, they don't like us because they think we take their precious fish. But that ain't true at all. And the old one speaks up again and he says, it is not strange for your kind not to like us. We are used to that. That is why we come here, because your kind are not here. It is a safe place for us to bring our young. What do you plan to do here? The squall has allowed you to enter. Are you here to heal this place? Are you here to make it better?
What's wrong with it?
They don't respond quite as quickly as they typically do. They seem to be thinking about it. It's Stuart who speaks up. He says, this island used to be healthy, beautiful, used to be full of life. And now it is not. We do not leave the beach. We do not leave the dunes. The nightmares, they will take you. They will shut you down. Plants they used to grow, people used to visit. Now they do not. Kins, as you're listening to Stuart talk, you take a step off the dock for the first time. Your foot touches the sand, and you're suddenly in a dream. The moment your foot touches the dirt, your vision swims. The low dunes, the scrubby cedars, the humid air, the world around you rushes past as if your consciousness is pulled, dragged to the center of the island. Swamps, caves, rocks, it all tumbles by you in a blur. The warmth you felt, the welcoming light when you cast your spell, it's long gone. It's replaced with a cold dread and a desperate longing. The island washes away, and you see the world through the jaws of a gargantuan beast as razor-sharp teeth close around you and become the bars of a dark prison. Light spills through the cracks that form the walls around you. The bars of your cage are ripped free of the stone by thick green vines that strain against the metal. The vines wrap around your waist and gingerly, almost lovingly, lift you from your confinement, carrying you to the safety of a sunlit meadow. The meadow itself is dominated by a tree of immeasurable, impossible size. It is immense, grand, and beautiful. As you stand marveling, a vast branch struggles to bend its way towards you. Sprouting from the end, a single fruit. Unlike anything you've ever seen, it tries to grow and ripen, but even as it grows, it rots from within. The tree tries to offer you a bite, but the fruit withers and falls, limp and dead on the forest floor. And then the dream is gone, and you're standing on the shore next to your companions, watching 3 turtles eat a crab.
Kins looks back at the group, and she tries to make eye contact with Thorcum, and like
I'll
motions.
approach. What is it?
How are you feeling about this place?
It's land. My stomach's settled. Can't really gauge much more than that. I'd like to know what these nightmares are. You seem disturbed.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's great for you that we're on land, but I just took a step right now, and I don't even know. I don't know what happened to me. Something seems to be connecting me to this island, and I just, well, okay, I'm not screaming this. I'm like kind of talking hushed, just to clarify. Something is, I don't know. Something seems really wrong.
Gathered that much from the turtles. Turtles. Sorry, that was rude.
But you don't feel anything standing right here?
My magic isn't the same as yours. You're connected to nature. I don't have that connection at all.
I think that I don't know. I feel like we need to find more information, but I also feel like there's much danger in what lies beneath.
When is there not danger? I'll let you guys do the talking.
You guys hungry?
I've been making a fire. Or fight. Is there any sticks, anything on the beach that we can use that I can point?
I'm trying it raw.
14, listen to Benadil.
There we go.
And 14 just like
14.
comes over to you. I'm gonna go kind of crest the dune and just keep a lookout.
All right, Thorcum walks up to the top of the dune and plants as a lookout. 14 in Vinadil, you're easily able to find a bunch of just branches and driftwood and things like that on the beach to start a small fire. Go ahead.
Sorry, practically speaking, my aim here too is for a short rest if we can manage it. We had a few people get a little banged up in the boat, and so I'm going to look around and just encourage Belrissa and Kins, Jeshi, have a bite, let's take a little rest if we can.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sit with the elder.
Okay, sure. So we'll say mechanic, for the sake of mechanics, this whole situation can be sort of a short rest as you guys are just catching your breath, talking. So if anybody so I think Belrissa, you get your spells back, as a warlock. Your warlock spell slots come back on a short rest. If anybody needs hit points, you can roll your hit die to regain some of those hit points. And we're going to say that probably an hour, hour and a half goes by as you guys are just catching your breath, you know, getting your feet under you, taking a short rest. And you hear more from Stuart and a bit from the elder Tortle, whose name is Ephesius, introduces himself. And you hear that, yeah, they are migratory. They move around a lot. All three of them were born here. This was their spawning grounds. And Ephesius is it's almost 200 years old. And so he's been around for long before the plague, which happened about 100 years ago.
Can I ask him, are you going to die here?
I am going to die here, but not before I carry my young one more time. It's my final season.
How do you know that?
Oh, when you're as old as I am, you just sort of know these things. I can feel it. Feel it in my shell, feel it in my body. It's just part of life.
You're okay with it then?
I've lived a long time. I have many sons, many daughters. 2 of them were able to come and visit me, and that makes me happy.
Not everyone gets to live a long time.
That is true. There used to be so much more light on this island. So much more life and laughter and love and happiness. That is something that even my kind can appreciate. And it is sad for me to see the island as it is now. My sons and daughters will have to see it, and that they could not see it as I did.
Do you think it can be restored to what it once was?
There's a lot of things I know, but I don't know that. I have never seen the Great Squall part for one such as yourselves. I don't know what that means, but that's a good omen if you ask me.
Well, you know, the people across the way wanted to get here because, I don't know, there's like maybe metal or something. And I was thinking, like, this storm really keeps us from the island. Now that I'm here, I don't really want to be here anymore.
It is easy for me and my kind, my family, to leave. I do not believe it will be easy for you to leave, so I can understand your apprehension. There are many things on this island. There used to be a great tribe of dwarves, like yourself, in the north. They used to dig in the earth for metals, precious jewels. They used to offer it to me and my family for trade. Those were good times. It's been a very long time since that's happened.
Why did they leave?
There was a period of time where there was much turmoil in the world. I kept my family safe by keeping them far from it. When I returned, everything had changed. I don't know where they went, but I have not seen any dwarves or anyone else here on this island since the ladies.
Since the what?
Since the when?
The ladies. They're the stewards, the druids who take care of the great tree.
So as this is happening, so Kins has been, I don't know if we're eating or not, but Kins has she has literally been standing the whole time, kind of like zoned out. eyes like not really making contact with anyone. And then at the sound of hearing druid and trees, she just kind of reflex says, "What are the nightmares?"
When you say that, all three of the turtles sort of, they seem a little like almost the reminder of the nightmares seems to put them on edge a little bit. And they both look to their father, who doesn't take his eyes off of the fire that Vinadil has created, maybe 6 feet away. Without looking at you, he answers your question. When I returned to the island after keeping my family far away, it was a different place. We used to go further inland to raise our young. But that was when the nightmares began. For me, for my family, even for my young. They could not sleep. They could not find rest. It was as if something were attacking their minds. We fled to the shores, where we found solace. The further away from the center of the island, the better. I don't know what causes them, or what they mean. That is not something I think about. But I keep my family safe by keeping them far away.
You mentioned these ladies and a great tree, and I'm just going to kind of look around. Do we get an idea of how big this island is? Like, can I see the curvature of it, or does it go on to where I get an idea that this is a pretty big island?
It's pretty big, yeah. So as you guys are sailing in, and you kind of came to the edge of the storm, you got a pretty good glimpse of kind of the general size of the island. It's probably about a 20-mile hike, start to finish. If you were to just hike across the whole thing, as the bird flies, about 20 miles or so. So it's pretty big. It'll, you get the sense it would probably take you a solid day to hike from one end to the other.
Yeah. Okay. So with that in mind, I'm going to, ask, where is this tree that these ladies take care of? Is it in the center of the island also?
Ephesius starts to cough a little bit, and the two sons instinctively reach over and just sort of support him a little bit, and he seems tired, and they lean him back a little bit and just sort of give him a little bit of support so he can sit up properly. And Stuart stands up at this point and he says, "The great tree's at the center of the island. It's about, well, for me, it might take me a whole day to get there. For you, perhaps half a day to get to the great tree. But it takes up... You can't miss it. It is very, very large. You can't see it from here because of the marsh and the dunes. But as soon as you go north and you get yourself through the cedar swamps, it is a sight to behold. I missed looking upon it before it got sick. But as my father said, we stay far away."
Have you met the ladies? What are they like? Are they still here?
He says, "The ladies are those who take care of the tree. They've been here for as long as as long as I can remember. I've spoken to them a handful of times. They've come down to the shores to visit, ask us how are things, and ask us about the outside world. All I really know is that they are here to care for the tree. And it has been challenging for them as of late. The world is very sick, and this place is not accepted from that."
Okay. So in general, they're nice. Pleasant people.
Just sort of
What
nod.
time of day is it?
It's like 9 in the morning.
Okay, I was going to say, because we took off really early.
Yeah, you guys left before dawn, and yeah.
Okay.
So you've never been to this tree? I'm talking to Stuart, not the old guy.
Yeah. So he stands up at this point. You guys have been sitting there for probably 45 minutes to an hour, just and Cobb and Velma eventually, kind of just awkwardly, not part of the have made their way over, and Cobb is just confused and hasn't said much, and Stuart stands up, finished eating, and he sort of ambles over to sort of up the dune a little bit, kind of where Thorcum has been keeping watch, and he looks back at you, Kins, and he says, I took a visit to the tree with my father when I was very young. I have not been there since, but it is not something you forget. There is a road that starts here, and it will take you to the tree, but you have to go through the marshes. There used to be, well, when there were many people here, the marshes were held back, but they have overgrown and overtaken any road that was, so you must go through them. But there's a road, you can follow it. If you hike north half a day or so, you'll find the tree. And he kind of just points in the general direction of, and Thorcum, you've noticed this too, and it's not even that hard to find. But there's a path that, it's all kind of covered with sand, but you kind of kicked off with your feet, and you can kind of get the idea that there was basically a road that started here that slowly kind of turns into, as it hits the edge of the marshes, turns into more of a walking path. And you can actually see, as you're looking kind of over the dune and towards the edges of the marshes, that there are sort of spots where there's like these wooden like boardwalk type things as it goes over wet kind of deeper areas, and kind of shifts between like a dirt path and kind of these boardwalks, and makes its way into the dense sort of swamp marsh. That's about as far as you can see, but that's sort of where he sort of holds out his staff and points in that direction.
You guys ever heard of chowder? Don't get me wrong. Like, I like it. Like, it's okay raw, but it doesn't really have. It's just salty. Maybe you like that. Do you like that? You like it raw? Have you
Actually,
eaten
I'm
it
sure
raw?
that they like chowder. Okay, I'm sure they like it.
Oh, we should make some then.
Yeah. Stuart just goes, you talk about food, he's into it, and he's like, he kind of walks back to you slowly, and he says, I enjoy chowder very much. It just takes too long to make.
Oh.
Speaking of time, how long are you guys planning on being on the island?
We just arrived last week, and we will be here until my father finishes his business. Not sure how long that will be.
All right, well, I mean, the task that sent us here seems that it's going to send us to the center of this place. Do you know where these mines were that the dwarves used to pull the metal out of the earth? What part of the island those are on?
I have not been to the northern part of the island myself, but my father tells stories of the dwarves he would trade with up there. If there was a mine and it was run by dwarves, I expect that is where you would find it.
And we're on the southern edge, basically.
Yeah. You're at the very southern bay.
Okay.
So if we were to
Stuart,
go,
there's something over there that I think I saw. Do you mind walking with me over here?
You're talking to Stuart?
Mm-hmm.
I would be happy to. Then he walks over. You guys walk a little ways away.
So, this island, this storm, It's all a little strange to me. I know that, I mean, it seems that you aren't surprised to see people like us, other than the fact that you haven't seen people like us in a while.
He says, "My father told us that one day people would return to this island. I have traveled a lot myself, and I have seen the state of the world, and I must tell you I did not believe him until I saw with my own eyes the magic that you wield. I don't know who you are, but I know what I saw."
I mean, I have never controlled a storm like that, so I mean, I don't know what happened. And to be quite honest, and that's why I didn't want to say this in front of the others, I'm just a little confused here.
He says, he interrupts you, and he says, "You don't seem aware of the significance of this place, yet you're here anyway, and that is very interesting to me."
Yeah, I mean, should I know?
He seems almost confused by your answer, and he ponders for a second, and he says, "This island is a place of vast druidic power. That giant tree in the center of the island, where the ladies do their work, people would come from all over. They would make pilgrimages here to this island to pay respects to the goddess. For druids, this was the center of the world. And now you are here, a druid, and you do not know this. You must admit that is very strange."
So as he's saying this, Kins hangs her head down and just says quietly, I didn't grow up with my parents.
I
So
understand. Many of my father's sons and daughters have never met him either. That can be very difficult.
So I mean, part of why I'm a little confused is none of my friends seem to be affected, but if this is important to druids, that makes sense. I do have to say that I had a very, very strange vision, and it involved a tree. So I'm not sure about what this means.
He stops walking, and he kind of turns towards the water, just looks out over the horizon where you can still see the storm is raging, as if, not 100 yards from where you are, yet it makes no noise. It's just such this eerie sensation of being sort of inside the backside of this just absolutely furious storm that you came through. And he looks out over the water, and he says, "This place takes a toll on your mind. I do believe you should confer with the ladies. They are druids as well, and they might be able to provide some guidance for you. I wish I could help you further. That crab was delicious." And I'm sure my father enjoyed it very much, and I appreciate you sharing with us.
Definitely. Thank you, Stuart. I do appreciate it.
At this point, Ephesius, the elder, he starts to try to stand up on his own, and the younger brother, he kind of, again, just instantly dashes over to him and kind of helps him up, and Kins and Stuart have walked off a little bit. Thorcum is up on the hill. The rest of you are kind of sitting there. Cobb and Velma have walked up a little bit too and partaken in some of the some of the grilled chull, which is quite good actually, surprisingly. And Ephesius, he says, "It is time for me to rest. These old bones and this old shell of mine, they I don't get much time to move around these days. This has been very, very exciting for me. I need to rest, but we will be here. If you need a place to rest, to stop, to eat, we will be happy to share some more of your crab with you." And he just sort of turns and starts to walk, kind of, they don't even go that far away. They just sort of go away, like literally like 20 feet. And that, to them, that's like, they're done with you guys. You kind of get, you kind of get like this idea, like as soon as that happens, and the brother kind of like, the posture, he kind of sits like between you, almost as if he's guarding him. And the elder turtle just kind of sits down and seems to sort of, rest with it, rest down low, and seems to have fallen asleep fairly quickly. Stuart and Kins make it back. Stuart kind of looks over and he says, "If you need anything else, we're not going to go far. I just ask that you do not disturb my father as he's resting."
Absolutely.
He looks over at Cobb, who's still kind of standing there. Cobb just says, actually doesn't say anything. He doesn't say anything. Stuart says, "Is that your boat, sir?" And he says, "Aye." Kind of like, almost like, well, what? Okay, what's going on? What's going on with my boat? He says, "Your boat is severely damaged, and I do not believe you're going to want to sail on that. The tide is still coming in. You've got another hour or two, but when it begins to go out later today, I would be happy to assist you with fixing that. My brother and I, we are quite adept. Would you allow us to help you, sir?" Cobb, confused, he kind of goes, "Yeah, all right, yeah." Kind of, you kind of see Cobb as like he's very uncomfortable, but also like just amazed, but he kind of agrees, and so Stuart looks back to you all and he says, "Well, okay," and he just walks over to the turtles. What do you guys want to do?
I mean, I've been packing up stuff and like putting the fire out, prepping to go. Like we've got a direction, we've got a road.
Yeah, sounds like we're gonna go see some ladies.
I mean, I don't see any reason to sit. There's clearly, I thought maybe they had a camp here, but now we're just seeing them kind of sit down in the sand. I'm like, all right, well, nothing really here to do. So yeah, might as well start heading in.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask Velma before we go. Like, did you know there's a settlement down south? Have you heard of that before?
She looks up and she says, "No, I didn't know that, and I didn't know there were turtle people. And
I love Vilma.
I didn't know there was magical storms.
It's
This has
crazy,
been a really weird
right?
day.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I got to come along, though. I can't wait to get back and tell everybody. I mean, you are all so amazing. Sparrow never stopped talking. He just kept telling everybody, and we knew he didn't even know you, but seeing it happen, I mean, I can't wait to tell him that he was right all along. And then you hear a bark from Cobb, and she, "Be careful, all right? I don't know how long we're gonna be here, but we'll wait for you."
Good. Yeah, don't leave
Please.
without us, please.
Please.
We'll try to be quick.
All right, so she goes back. So you guys all walk up to where Thorcom is at the top of the dunes, and you kind of look out over the landscape, and basically the marshes have just crept, and you can kind of tell that they've just sort of like not been kept back, and the only reason they haven't come all the way to the shore is just because of erosion and just the wind and everything, and but there's a pretty clear path. What do you guys want to do?
As they reach the top of the dunes, I'll just say there's a road in. They said the dwarven settlement was to the north. We could skirt around the coast. And I'll look at Ken's. Or do you want to go to the tree?
We should go to the tree.
I'll look at everybody else.
I agree.
To the tree.
Seems like the
Just-
ladies control the island.
Jesse is just arriving because walking up sand dunes in plate mail is very difficult for a dwarf. Oh my god, I ate too much of that.
It is so. It's been the last hour has been you've learned a lot. You've eaten chull for the first time, which is basically a giant king crab. It's like a king crab that tried to kill you. Basically, you just ate it.
So it's more satisfying.
super
And
satisfying.
it was
Yeah.
really
Victory
satisfying.
meal.
It was
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
It really tasted good. But it's been an intense couple of hours.
Nothing
And
tenderizes meat like an eldritch blast.
so you're just kind of like getting out of that kind of like relaxation, and kind of realizing, like, okay, it's time to get back to work. The island itself is intensely humid, and there is this awkward stillness to the whole place. It's almost stale. There's very little, if no wind at all, and you, as you draw closer to the marshes, you start to, whatever solace was being provided by that little bit of breeze from the sea, almost immediately sort of fades as the stench of the marshes starts to take over.
Smooth.
And it's sulfurous, it's rotting, it's disgusting. There's these insects. You can hear the flies bzz, 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 just all around you. Mosquitoes start to hover. Gnats are all around. You can hear frogs in the distance. You can hear, who knows, just on one hand, it's comforting to hear life, but it is also this just disgusting and extremely uncomfortable place. You start to sweat. You start to, as you're starting to hike through this marsh, there are these small sections of wooden boardwalks that provide just a little bit of solace in between just the mucky sort of, your feet sinking in to the path as you're walking through. What's everybody doing as you guys are walking?
I'm going to climb up on top of 14 and kind of take 2 straps of leather and kind of hook in and just lean back on top of them and kind of
You're just gonna ride
on
14?
that.
I was
Yeah.
gonna
That's
ask that.
awesome.
Like it almost feels like you have do you have like foot straps on the back
Yeah.
of 14 that you like
Yeah.
put your feet in or something? Like
It's so
Jesse's in
cute.
like knee-deep muck,
Yeah.
just like can barely walk, and Thorkin's just like,
Du-du-du.
just getting a
walked up.
ride. It's excellent.
Oh.
It does cause 14 to sink quite a bit more than he would have otherwise, but he is very strong and he seems like he's moving ahead just fine.
I'll lead the way.
I'm gonna give Ziggy a ride on my shoulder, and I'm gonna cast Dancing Lights just for a little pleasant ambiance.
Okay, dancing lights.
ambiance in
Yeah.
the marsh.
It's really dreary here. I need to liven it up a bit.
Yeah,
Party
I'll
time.
join. Probably because
Dual
in my own
dancing
head, I'm
lights.
like,
Is it like
Yes.
like a dance competition
It's-
of
well, no,
dancing
but I'm like,
lights?
well, clearly we're not doing the stealth thing again, so might
We
as
like-
well have like with 14 tromping through the. I'm like,
Can we get some dubstep too? Just blasting.
Yes, it's a dancing lights off, and we're taking turns, seeing who can make the fanciest ones.
The swamp is extremely dense, and as you get a little bit further in, it's still morning. It's probably 10, maybe getting on 11 a.m. at this point. But the canopy of the scrubby sort of cedars and cypress trees of the swamp are, they're just making it just a little bit, dim, and and the dancing lights do provide just a little bit of respite from the otherwise very dreary atmosphere. And as you're looking at these dancing lights, you hear something. Everybody hears it. You hear the laughing of what sounds like a child, maybe a little girl. You almost think it's Velma for a second. You kind of look back instinctively. There's nobody there. You hear it again. It's definitely the laughing of a child. What do you do?
Guys, do you think that's a real child? Or like a scary
You
child?
heard that too?
I always thought the ladies would be old.
Oh,
I don't think we're quite there.
yeah. I don't think
And I
it's
don't
the
know
ladies.
what the version of nightmares this island has is, but I do know, like, we probably shouldn't leave this road. So
Agreed.
if the turtles say no one has come here since us, then that's probably not a real person.
Not a real child? Yeah,
I mean,
probably not.
Everybody kind of remember the little fort we stopped back by on the way to get on the boat over here. Like,
So it's a ghost child.
I'd rather not see whatever that is.
As soon as Vin says that, I immediately try to sense undead with my divine sense.
Okay, so use your divine sense. There are no undead. You hear the laughing again. Thorcum, you instinctively flinch as you hear the sound of a cracking tree. Splash! You look over and there's nothing there. Nothing's moved at all. In fact, the stillness of the water in the bog is almost disturbing.
How do
Hearing things.
y'all feel about jogging, running,
Yeah,
picking up the pace a
moving
bit?
faster movement sounds good to me.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
Little haste.
Faster than the mosquitoes is fine with me.
You start to pick up the pace. It's hot, it's muggy, it's mud. You're tromping along. Jeshi in particular and 14 are having a difficult time moving quickly through this terrain, but you manage. You're the soldier in you, Jeshi. It picks up time for the hard march, and you start moving. 14 figures it out, best he can. Gets caught in the mud a couple times, but no big deal. You make it through. You walk for about another hour. You get to a point where you come sort of through this grouping of trees, and it clears just a little bit. You're still in the swamp, but just this one section, there's a little bit more of a clearing. You can see just a little further than is typical. And at, maybe 50 yards away, you can see what looks like a stone pillar kind of sticking out of the ground, which is clearly kind of right on the side of the trail.
Gonna investigate. Use stone cunning.
Stone
Yeah,
cutting.
me too.
Okay. You'd need to walk up all the way to it first if you want to use that type of investigation on it. You're still pretty far away. You can just kind of see it out in the distance at this point.
So is it on the road or is it off?
It's on the road. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're going that way.
Okay.
I'm gonna approach.
So before Thorcum goes off, Kins would like to cast Pass Without a Trace on the whole party.
Okay.
So this is a concentration. Veil of Shadows and Silence radiates from you, masking us from detection. Plus 10 bonus to dexterity stealth checks.
Are you telling us this?
Yes.
Like, we should proceed quietly? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
How long does it last?
An hour.
Okay.
Up to an hour, as long as my concentration's not broken.
So Pass Without a Trace allows you to move quietly. So even in the sloshing mud, you can feel there's this sort of magical dulling to the sound of the sloshing through the mud. So as you guys slow your pace and try to move somewhat quietly towards this stone pillar, it takes you about 20 minutes to reach it, but you manage to come up to this. What looks to be, your first thought is that this was some sort of trail marker, potentially, Thorcum, go ahead and make your investigation check. Oh, and Jeshi too. And your stone cunning ability, I believe, gives you what, advantage on this check?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which would be good.
No, double proficiency.
Yes,
yeah,
thank you. There you go.
double just the proficiency bonus, not the.
It's
roll.
specific to history though, so if you're asking us to do investigation, I don't know.
Well, go ahead and just give me the roll, and then we can
Sounds
go
good.
from there.
I actually rolled pretty low, so I'm going to take my passive on this, even the 23.
Okay.
3.
You have a 20.
So confident.
You
3.
got double proficiency added, and you rolled a 3?
No, I didn't add that. No,
Okay,
so it would be 9.
I don't even know if that's mathematically possible. That's insane. Okay. Yeah. So, okay, you come up to this stone pillar, and Jeshi's kind of like, just, sure is made of stone. You go to look at it, and just this mosquito lands right on your nose, and you just instinctively
imagining
just
sweat,
smack yourself in
just
the
like
face, and you're just like,
so
oh,
much.
you are so uncomfortable in full plate, in this. It is just nasty. Thorcum, though, is just kind of like riding high on the back of 14, paying attention, no big deal. 14 kind of stops and plants his feet so you can get a good look at this thing here. And it's ancient. It's definitely very old. It's carved into sort of almost an obelisk-like shape. It comes about 7 feet in the air, but it's cocked at kind of an angle as if it's sort of like fallen into the mud a little bit over time. You can see that there used to be writing or some sort of runic carvings on this pillar, but it's long been worn and eroded with time. There's no way to make out what it once said. It's just almost completely covered in just lichen, mold, and stuff like that. Just this old stone. You see a deep crack kind of running through it all the way down to the base. On top of the base itself, which is sort of, again, kind of crooked and leaning into the mud a little bit, you can see a crudely made cairn. Like a bunch of stones have been sort of piled up into what is obviously a cairn, a trail marker. And you can see that they're all sort of mud caked as if they were pulled from the swampy water and kind of placed on this thing.
I'll look down at Jeshi. And do I see, I guess, what am I trying to ask? Is there like a split here in the road? Can I make a perception check?
Yep.
To save us time, I am just going to take my passive at 18.
Okay. So you're just sort of passively kind of looking around instinctively, knowing that this is a trail marker. What is it marking? And sure enough, you can see that even more overgrown than the trail you're on now, there is a fork that goes off to your left, which would be to the west, and it leads up a small hill, and you're not sure. It's a bit hard to tell, and you wouldn't have even looked in this direction had you not found this, but you feel like you see some kind of structure through the trees in the distance, but you're a little too far to tell. As you're looking, you hear something. One of the floorboards underneath 14 has snapped, and he begins to sink into some very, very wet mud. And 14 begins to sink very quickly. And before you guys can even react, he's thigh deep in wet, greenish brown mud.
I will cast Levitate on 14.
Okay.
Okay, I've grabbed him and I'm trying to pull him up.
All right.
Yeah.
Before you
Just
do that,
like
before this happens and we see how you get 14 out of here, we're going to go ahead and take our intermission. We're going to take 5 minutes here. We're going to take a 5-minute break, give everybody a rest to get up, stretch your legs, grab a drink of water. When we get back in a few minutes, we're going to do our giveaway and see who wins the Candlekeep Mysteries book. And we're going to also see if what happens to 14, who is sinking into quicksand mud very, very rapidly. So we'll see you guys in about 5 minutes. We'll see who wins that book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Look.
And we're back.
Hey.
So, okay, I was just looking at our giveaway. We're still got the marsh sound. We're going to do this giveaway in the swamp, okay? We're going to... No, I'm just kidding. Let's chill that out for a second. We'll come back. Don't worry. We'll come back to the soothing ASMR sounds of frogs and buzzing mosquitoes.
You don't have the laughing children. That's what really makes a giveaway and a marsh.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I thought about that, and it just yeah. Okay.
No, that would be too much.
Hey everybody, I'm gonna give it like 2 minutes. If there's a lot more people in chat than have signed up for the giveaway. So if you want a chance at getting this book, go ahead in the next minute or so, hit / giveaway, right? I think that's what it's told you. Looks like in chat like 100 times. But yeah, go ahead and hit that in the next couple minutes, and we'll run it. I don't even have this book yet. It just came out yesterday, and it's got 17 stories in it. They're all written by different writers, which sounds really, really super cool. One of the writers is the guy who DMs for High Rollers, Mark Holmes. It's Mark, yeah. And he wrote one of the stories, and I've heard some incredibly good things about that one, as well as I'm sure everything in the book is awesome. And I'm looking forward to picking it up myself. And I haven't even. Whoever wins this giveaway gets to get it before we do. So that's good. That's awesome.
Yeah, they have to tell us how it is.
Yeah.
What we're missing.
Yeah,
We expect like a full
that's the
book report and
requirement.
review.
We want a book report.
Book report, yeah.
On Discord, just come on and
3 pages minimum. Doubles.
All right,
Single
here's
space,
a random
whatever.
tangent. Did you all have to cut up old paper bags to cover your
Yes.
textbooks in school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
The
what
book covers?
That's what book report made me think of.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I
Well,
was going
because
to bring
it's
that
cool
up.
because you can like decorate it and design your own.
It
And
was
then they
super
came
cool.
up with that stretchy stuff where everyone was like, oh, I want this design or this design. But the paper ones were great because you could just write all over it.
I'm pretty sure I left all mine blank, which really defeated the purpose because then I couldn't tell the difference between my books and I would always have to open them.
Vinny,
Joshy,
you look like
That
me. Do you know
sounds
what
like
they're
a
talking
Joshy
about?
thing.
Are we just too old?
Well, like we didn't cut up paper bags. Like they made book cover size
Oh, you
paper
fancy.
that we just said. We just put our
Paper? Oh, yeah.
I'm like, what is
There's
this?
like stuff with sleeves.
You know what, Vin?
put one
No,
side
no,
into
no.
one
They
sleeve, one side
stripped
into the
they
other
stripped
sleeve.
that funding from the schools when we were in school and they were like, use your own paper bags, okay?
Yeah, I definitely had to use my own paper bags.
Yes.
Like,
They didn't just hand you those? Like
Oh,
we
they didn't.
just had some handed to us.
I remember
We could
there were
still draw on
some-
them.
Who was giving you these paper bags?
Oh,
Man.
there
mean,
there
it
were
was like
some that were
teachers.
like there was like a Wendy's book cover, so
Yes,
like
yes,
the
like-
local restaurant or
I
whatever.
think it
would
was
sponsor
Oh my
Mrs.
it.
God.
Like there was a
What
bread
schools
store
did
in
y'all go
town.
to?
I'm pretty sure there was a bread
Fancy.
store in town that did this. Mrs. Baird's Bread. I will have to look
Oh.
it up now because like now
Oh,
I'm
for
curious
sure.
if I'm
Sponsor.
remembering that properly. Yeah.
Okay, Vin, I want a
Possible
book
sponsor.
report on Saturday.
On Mrs. Baird's Bread. All right.
are you guys ready
Do
for
this.
this? I'm gonna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Ready.
All right, here we go.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Oh, here we
Can
go.
we pick somebody else? I mean, come on. This guy.
Wait,
Really?
but wasn't
Where is it?
wasn't
No,
Madman our
not
100th follower?
Madman.
Mad-
Hey,
Madman.
Madman. He was our 100th follower.
He was
So-
I mean,
the
we
100th
love
person to
Madman.
hit follow. He hit triple
But
digits
seriously,
and he
how?
wins the book. Look at that,
Yay.
man. That is just mad, isn't it?
It is mad.
Madman.
That's freaking cool, Madman.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Gosh, that's
Su-
awesome.
Super glad. We will get that Candlekeep Mysteries book out to you. And awesome. This was a lot of fun. Are you guys ready to get back into this game and figure out what
Oh
happens
man.
Let's do
Sure.
this thing. Let's go see some ladies by a tree.
next? Okay.
Classic.
You know, as you do.
As you do.
14
No one called-
has
Oh,
rapidly begun to sink into the mud. And Thorcum, you cast Levitate, expecting for him to just float. And he does seem to, you can just tell by the friction with the mud and the response and what's happening that it has had an effect. But the suction of the mud, which at this point is almost up to its waist, it is keeping it down. So you're going to need to be able to really give it a solid pull out of the mud here. even with the assistance of your spell, though it will certainly help. What do you guys want to do? He
I'm
has
gonna
stopped
have-
sinking because of the spell, but is still
I'll
stuck.
pull up. Pull him up.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up and also cast Mage Hand for an extra little pull. Wimpy
A
pull.
skeletal hand cast by Jamie, the shadow sorceress, just appears, and it's just like, it's just like this tiny
Up in
little,
his butt.
this tiny little thing is just trying. Yeah. Well, you tell me where does it go, Jamie? Where does the hand
it
go?
seems like that's the most leverage. Like,
It just sort of, it's like thing. It's just like, doot, 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 and it goes, and it just starts going like this. And okay, so you guys, who's actively trying to pull 14 out of the mud here?
I'm gonna have
Jesse.
14 kind of extend his arm, and I'm gonna jump off that way.
Okay, so
So I was
Thorfinn
right
jumps
there,
off.
so I think I would just
For
both
sure.
wrists.
yeah.
Okay.
I'll
So-
actively pull as well. Yeah.
Jessie, with advantage, make an athletics check to see if you can have some effect to just pull. And I assume you're commanding 14 to like try to get out.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
26.
Oh yeah.
20,
26.
20, yeah, 26.
Lifts it with
no,
one
that's,
hand.
And a
Don't
1.
look at the other roll.
So,
yeah, don't look at the other one.
Good thing it was advantage. Yeah.
Okay, so Jessie walks over and yawns, and with one finger just sort of no, I'm just kidding.
I'm good at so few things. Give
I
me
know,
this.
yes. You have to
Yeah,
make
no.
it epic.
Jessie has had, listen, if anyone has had a rough couple of days, okay, it's Jessie, and he is just looking for he needs a confidence booster, right? So he walks
Do
over
this.
and you sort of, crack your knuckles a little bit, you plant your feet, and you reach down and you try to get the best leverage you can, which is under the butt, according to Belrissa. She's and you have to like move this mage hand out of the way, but you kind of reach down and you get that butt leverage, and you're just like,
In the legs. Lift
And-
with the legs.
and it works. It worked. Your feet sink in about 8 inches or so, but you manage to pull 14 out of you. You hear this like as the suction releases, and 14 and it gives, and all of a sudden he goes whoop, and he just floats like 10 feet up into the air, and this
Whoa.
awkward robot is just like completely still, just sort of floating, starts to tilt as the thing is like an awkward like giant balloon who's levitated in the air and very confused. Congratulations, that was a really nice roll. It was fantastic.
Guys, I am so strong.
As 14 is floating in the air, Vinadil, you feel something. Ow! It hurts. It really hurts. You look down, and on the bottom of your armor, right where it meets the boot, it's like sizzling, it's smoking. As you see, there's some slime on the bottom of your leg. And you reach down and touch it, and it burns your finger. You just instinctively, and you look back, and coming out of the water, just this bubbling sort of, like the water itself begins to rise as this dark green oozing slime just sort of rises up and starts to climb up the side of the stone pillar, and you can see these pseudopods just sort of start to wriggle out, and it's just dripping this acidic sort of goo that sizzles when it hits the water. Roll initiative.
Whoa.
Remember to get us to the map before people.
No map.
Oh, yeah,
rolls
yeah,
time.
Oh, no map this time.
snap.
No map.
Oh.
No map.
Oh.
This is going to be theater of the mind.
What's it,
All
mine?
right.
Prompt here.
Gosh. Oh
But
no.
Joshi's int is 8. Oh.
That is your best
No.
joke yet.
It's a very small theater in Jeshi's mind. It's got 2 seats.
That was good.
And there,
Oh, man.
in them is 14 and Thorcom.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, what happened?
I rolled, but it didn't go in. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
I'm rolling again, but that is
Is that
not my
clicking
real
your
roll.
Token or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, Belrissa definitely
All right.
go.
As we start,
last.
can I just kind of shout out it hurts when it touches you? Like, because it's like it's on me, and just kind of point.
Yep. Okay, Thorcom, initiative.
6.
6. Well done, sir. Belrissa.
16.
16. Okay, double digits at least. All right, Kins.
12.
12. All right, Vinadil.
12.
12 again. Jeshi.
5.
5. All right. Not bad, sir. Not bad. And 14. No, he goes on your initiative.
He goes on.
That is 5 more
Right.
than my worst initiative.
Yeah.
Let me just give these a nice ordering here. Thorcum, just fantastic roll, man.
This audio is really getting me into it. There's something about the insects that I'm like, I'm literally surrounded by insects right now.
All right, Belrissa, you as your mage hand, you're kind of like annoyed at Jeshi as he just like shoves your mage hand out of the way because you were helping, and so you just happen to be looking in that direction, and you see, even before Vinadil does, you see this thing kind of like come out, and you're the first to react. It's this very, very large, just sort of dark green. It's like the same color as the mud, which is why you barely even noticed it at first until the mud started to come alive and is basically about to just like start attacking Vin. What do you want to do?
All right. I am going to bonus action hex it
Okay, it's hexed.
and blast him because that's what I do.
Belrissa blasts. Okay.
All right. And that'd be a 22 to hit
Oh, that hits.
with
definitely.
18 damage.
18 damage. Damn.
That's a good
Okay.
one.
Very, very nice. Yeah. Not a bad start.
And second blast is 12 to hit.
12 hits.
Yeah,
It's
with
a
the-
giant pile of mud.
Sweet. 13 damage.
13 more damage. Wow. Excellent. Belrissa.
And I'm going to be like, I do not like oozes, and I'm going to go down the path as far as
All right.
my little legs can take
Belrissa
me.
retreats
Are you leaving us?
down the
No,
path.
I
and
mean, I'm just sitting
She's
back.
gone. You guys.
Girl.
You got this, guys.
No. Yeah.
You got
She's out of here.
Oh my God.
All right, Kins, you're up.
I don't. What? I kind of want to thorn whip Belrissa in the face, but
Just pull her back. Yeah. So Kin, you're all probably within like 15 feet. You know, you can kind of imagine you're in a single file line hiking down this, this boardwalk or whatever, but you've all semi-congregated at this this cairn here, and but you're all within like 10 feet of this thing at the moment, as it just has just sort of like appeared out of nowhere. You would definitely get the sense that you are uncomfortably close to this massive, giant, dangerous mud thing. What do you want to do?
I want to thorn whip the monster, not Belrissa.
Thank you.
Okay.
I promise that I won't try to hurt you. Okay. Oh, you know what? Okay, so I'm sorry. Can we talk about the fouls on the play with the dice hitting each other? Because that's something that I'm concerned about.
It's
They're-
awesome.
That happens in real life too, though.
Yeah.
It's trying to simulate
I'm not rolling 2d20 in real life though, because I'm rolling with
That is
like
fair.
as if I'm
That's
okay.
a fair point.
13 to hit.
13 hits.
Okay, then we'll do this.
What type of damage is Thorn Whip?
Piercing.
Piercing. Got it. So this magical thorn just sort of materializes out of thin air and just wraps around this muddy mass, and the thorns just snap into it.
4 piercing damage.
4 piercing damage. Okay. Excellent.
I suppose I'll also go closer to Belrissa in case she tries to run away from us. I don't think that'll be the case, but I'm gonna go closer. We're like moving in the direction up the road. I'll move closer to her,
Okay.
and that'll be it.
So, Kins, does that pull the enemy towards you?
Thorn Whip is, I think, 30 feet.
I think it has a secondary effect, right?
Oh, wait.
Kins
Oh.
runs away and pulls the mud with her. the mud blob.
Yeah, it's 10 feet closer to me. No, I didn't read the whole thing.
Wait, does it have to do that?
It says, oh, wait.
How
Optional.
to read your
If the
abilities
attack
before
hits-
using them.
Yeah, sorry. The attack hits, the creature takes the piercing damage. If the creature is large or smaller, what does that even mean? If it's large or smaller, you pull the creature up to
That-
10 feet closer to you.
So quote unquote large is a size designation,
Yeah.
which is what this creature is.
Oh, large or smaller, I get it.
Yeah,
So like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
that large or smaller. Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah, so 10 feet closer to me.
It'd be good though.
Taking
You
it up the road.
might have pulled it away from
Okay.
Vin, you know?
Yeah.
This is one of those like things that like this is perfect for theater of the mind, right? Because you've got this like it's large size, which means it's roughly 10 feet in diameter, blob like form amoeba like thing, right? This ooze, and it is almost most of its body is up out of the mud, but still part of it is like down into the the murky water, and Kins wraps this thing with it and just pulls it towards her. And Vin, you're still kind of like you're like still reacting to what's going on as the thing just suddenly like whips out of the water and is now fully on the path, and you can see the full form of this thing, and it's huge. It's as big as the chulls that you guys fought, but it is this amoebus sort of like oozing, muddy, like everything that is gross and disgusting and uncomfortable about this swamp is this creature. Like it's all come to life, and it is now trying to kill you, and it is now right next to you.
Kins in my mind is regretting criticizing Belris.
Vin, it's your turn.
Yeah, mental note, talk to Kins about her druid abilities. Okay, well, that changes things. So it's within melee of me now, right? Like I'm
It has always
right
been.
up next to.
Yeah.
Okay, it has always been. Okay, yeah, because it was eating my ankles. Okay, so I'm gonna disengage, move 30 feet away, and is it engaged with anybody else?
Yeah, everybody basically.
Everybody. All right,
point,
so that's what they make. All right, then I'm just gonna try to shoot it with my crossbow.
Okay. Vinadil ducks behind a cypress tree, a particularly thick one, and he kind of like gets a position.
That's
Knocks the
21
bow.
to hit,
21 hits.
and then if it's sneak attack, if it's engaged with somebody, that's 24 damage.
24 damage. Excellent. So that's a single crossbow bolt just slams into the side of this thing, and that's piercing damage as well, right?
It's piercing, yep.
Okay, excellent. 24 damage.
Nice.
And that's bonus move and an action, so that is my turn.
Excellent. Okay, it is now the ooze's turn. If it's possible for an ooze to be confused, the body language of this thing, having just been ripped out of the mud,
Confused.
Confused. Enthused.
Yeah, that's
But
that is what it is. Yeah, nice. Okay, so it is currently, it's basically in the middle of all of you, with Belrissa kind of in the back, and Vinadil is up the trail, about 30 feet in the other direction. It has its eye on Kins because you've just now, a moment earlier, retracted the thorn whip that hit it. It is going to multi-attack against Kins, and it's
If I'm within range, can I impose my shield?
Absolutely,
on
you're
the first
definitely in
attack?
range. Yeah, so you
Great.
use your reaction to give her a bonus to her AC. So that
Disadvantage.
it's
Disadvantage
disadvantage.
on the roll. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, great. So the first attack with a pseudopod, it basically this like arm almost of slime just comes out and just tries to like smack you. And the first attack at disadvantage is going to be an 8. So Jeshi sees it coming a mile away and just whips that. Jeshi's still on this high of just having like whipped 14 out of the mud. He's like feeling good. He's feeling strong. The shield comes up and it just bashes the pseudopod out of the way. It never comes close to hitting you. It seems annoyed by that, and it comes at you from the opposite side, on the other side where Jeshi is unable to get you, and that's going to be a 17 to hit.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Hits.
That is going to be 8 bludgeoning damage on you,
Okay.
and it follows up with one more attack where it seems to kind of like rise up almost like a wave, and you see that a big section of the mud starts to sort of swirl, and it suddenly just like spits like all in your direction. And that's going to be a non-natural 20 to hit you. Non-crit, but it's a 20.
Okay.
That's 6 acid damage, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
All right.
Add 2 to your result because you're next to me.
Okay. I'm gonna roll it, then we'll add 2 after it rolls.
Cool.
Yep. Oh boy.
Oh my! Okay, so I got
Oh
two.
no.
Well, one plus
Yeah.
my modifier, or natural one.
Kim's
Oh,
just rolled a
God.
natural 1 on her saving throw. So, for those of you who might be somewhat new to the game, a natural 1, that means she rolled a 1 on her d20 on her 20-sided die, and that is a critical failure. Bad things happen.
Yep.
The spit of the creature has this almost nervous system effect on you as soon as it hits you, Kins. And you could tell as it kind of sprays in like a wide range and hits you in various places because you're so close, you know, it's like short range. You can feel it start to affect your nervous system, and you immediately feel your vision start to blur. And that's right before the spit itself actually just hits you right smack in the eyes.
Oh my God.
And you are completely blinded. You can see nothing.
Stop.
You currently have the blinded condition, so you're blind at the moment. And even when you sort of instinctively like go up to wipe it out of your eyes with the side of your armor, even though the stuff itself is gone, the nervous system effect is still remains, and you're totally blind right now. Okay, it's not gonna move because it doesn't need to. Thorcum, you're up.
All right. I'm going to cancel my concentration on the levitate for 14. Just release it.
14 is like half cocked to the side and just crashes into the mud, sending just muddy water everywhere. All of you, with the exception of Vinadil, get sprayed in mud as 14 is like prone, having just fell 10 feet down into the muck.
I am then going to blast this thing. 14 to hit.
14 hits.
10 damage.
10 damage. Excellent. Okay,
And then second attack, 11 to hit.
that hits.
16 damage.
16. Very nice.
And then I am going to use my bonus action to use a spell slot to cast Sanctuary on Kins. And then I'm still technically in range of this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to force a reaction. I'm going to move away 20 feet.
Okay, as you move away, it's just this creature of pure instinct. It sees its prey trying to get away, and it swipes out at you with one of its pseudopod attacks.
Okay.
21 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
6 bludgeoning damage on you.
Okay.
Okay, Jeshi.
And then it's 14's turn.
Oh, 14's turn. Right. So he's
He's
prone
prone.
in the mud.
He'll use half his movement to stand up.
Okay.
And then it's punchy time.
He's gonna get his punchy on.
16 to hit
That hits.
and 11 damage
11.
from 14.
Okay. Excellent.
And he's going to use the rest of his movement to kind of get around to where Kins is.
Okay. Yeah, you guys are all relatively close to each other, so that's pretty easy. Jeshi, it's your turn.
Cool. Did you Sanctuary, Kins?
I
miss
did.
that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I saw what happened to Kins. Right, Jay?
Yep.
I will cast Lesser Restoration on her.
Okay.
What is that?
Makes you not blind.
Yay. Kins likes that.
Excellent.
And then I will just stay where I'm at. And that's it.
That's great. Okay. Your eyesight returns, but the burning sensation and the sort of like, it's almost, you know when you have like allergies and your eyes are real swollen and you can see, but it's just this gross, uncomfortable, almost itchy feeling. That's what you got going on right now.
Yes, I do know that feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, very aware of what that feels like. Yeah. Belrissa, you're up.
All right, just gonna Eldritch Blast this guy again.
Belrissa blasted.
For 23 to hit
Yeah. That
and
hits.
17 damage.
17 damage.
That was a good one.
Yes. Jeez. Okay. Yeah. So this thing, Are you gonna
Kamehameha.
you gonna use your force blowback thing?
So if
that you
I
can
do that, is it just going closer to Vin? Or is
Yeah.
it going like
Basically.
I don't want to push it closer. Like
Okay.
like
You guys are kind of like pincering it right now, so you're on opposite sides of it. So
yeah, I feel like we're all in a good place, so I'm not going to
Okay.
push it back. If it was pushing like away from everyone, but
Yeah. No, because you're both on the path, just on opposite ends of this thing.
okay. Cool. And then the next one is 22 to hit.
Yeah, that
And
hits.
13 damage.
13 damage. Belrissa, as you're just flurry of fury emits from your fingertips. Describe what happens when you destroy this creature.
Hey.
Ooh. So I cast the first Eldritch Blast. It's looking weak. It's like starts melting a little bit, and then the second one, and it like this dark cloud envelops it, and it just like dissolves into the water, and it lets out a scream. It's like
It's like when you pop a balloon, like at that last thing. It's like
Yeah.
it's like this scream is all whatever air, whatever life, whatever unnatural sort of dark
Swamp
magic,
farts.
swamp fart magic brought
Yes.
this thing to life. It is extinguished into the air, and it smells awful. It's even worse somehow than what it smelled like before. But this thing just deflates, and about halfway down, it just seems to dissolve into regular mud, and not 5 seconds goes by before there's just no trace of it. Whatever it was has just been absorbed back into the ground. You all catch your breath, look around.
that was gross.
What do you want to do?
Yeah. So, I mean, let's look around real quick. Any other movement in the swamp?
Make a perception check.
So I did get hit. I forgot to do my con save. I'm just going to do that right now for the pass without a trace.
Okay.
I'd take
So-
my 18.
Yeah. I'll take Thorkum's perception.
Hey,
Mine's
you
a-
barely
mine's a
passed.
6.
For those of you who might be new to the game, Thorkum is basically Sherlock Holmes. Like, he just walks around. He's got a passive investigation of 23, if I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's basically a walking. He's got like an eidetic memory practically, just walking around. Just it's a thing. So yeah, all right. You guys look around, and you do not see anything else moving other than typical fauna in the swamp. You see a frog kind of hopping across a bit of muck kind of in the distance, and you can see the flies and gnats buzzing around. You see what looks like an iguana kind of climbing up a tree that's half submerged in the swamp. But nothing that strikes you as dangerous. As you're looking around, you kind of take a few steps off the path, trying to like just, double down, make sure you're not going to get jumped again. And you get a clearer look at this path that kind of shoots off to the side. And a few steps up a little sort of embankment, and you can see in the distance, maybe 20-minute walk, there looks to be an old sort of ruined tower. It's a little hard to tell from where you are through the trees, but it looks to be an old building or fortification, something like that in the distance.
This is the one to the west, though?
That's correct, yeah.
So, do you think the ooze was what was making the child's laughter sound? Do oozes laugh like children? Maybe.
No, I don't hear it now, right?
I didn't know this.
No, I
They
don't
screamed until you let the air out of it.
Neither did I. That was kind
I'll
of
look at Kins and like very directly. Do you get any of those druid tingles here?
Druid tingles.
I don't know. You said you had felt something back at the beach. Do you feel anything here?
Oh,
Is it different?
tingles?
Yeah. So I was telling Thorkum that when we got off the boat, I maybe saw some things, but maybe it was just because I was overwhelmed. So I guess we'll see. I don't know.
I
Doubtful.
think an ooze laugh would have been like a lower.
Like
Woof,
like
woof,
like
woof,
squishier.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm worried there's still a kid out here watching us.
As
I
you
like
say that,
Oh god.
as if nobody would not think, as if in response to your comment, you hear the laughter of a child. Sounds like a young girl, probably less than 10 years old, just laughing, echoing between the trees.
Hello?
Well,
You wanna
Shush.
you wanna come out?
Jessie.
Yes. She could be scared.
ghost
We
children
just-
are never good.
That's.
It's not a ghost. It's not a ghost.
Do you remember the ghost we had to kill?
Yeah, but it's not a ghost. It's not an undead. I tried to look for undead. I didn't sense any.
How far can you sense?
60 feet. Seems like the laugh is within that, right?
How big is this place?
It's an island.
A lot bigger than 60 feet.
Giant swamp.
Yeah, but I mean,
But the laugh, Jessie would be right to think that the laugh is pretty close by. And it's not, it's kind of echoing awkwardly through the swamp. It's not like you can exactly tell or pinpoint where it's coming from. In fact, it seems to move around almost. Like when you try to like look in the direction you hear it, you swear it moves over here, and then it seems to just evade your perception.
Yeah, let's keep moving down this path.
Should we
Like,
go check out?
we can
You want to check out the tower?
I do not want to check out the
Spooky
tower.
tower could be fun.
Spooky tower.
No, we should go
No.
find the tree. That's what we gotta do.
We're 2 hours in.
there's
We're
a
halfway into this trip.
But there's a spooky tower
we
up
should
there.
check out the tower.
Yes.
Vote on it.
I've had a morning
You're,
of barfing, and I just want to get out of the smelly place. I'm voted for staying on the path with Vin.
I'm voting.
And
stay
kids?
outside.
And Kins,
are-
Kins wants to go down the
Majority.
path.
Just
Does
to
Ziggy get a vote? 'Cause-
just to give you kind of a clear
It's
idea,
14.
you guys are hours and hours from getting out of the swamp. It's really really long, and not to guide you one way or another.
So when he says
It's-
half a day, I'm thinking 4 to 6 hours.
yeah, you've only been hiking an hour or so at this point.
Oh, an hour? Oh, I thought we were 2 hours in.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, even so, you'd still only be a third of the way through the swamp.
What if we just like look through the window?
It's
It
up to
might
you.
be
You-
okay.
I don't want to
If it's
influence
just
your,
a window.
but you
There's
you are
something.
the
There's
important
something
important
going
thing
on.
being you're far from out of the swamp. Just to make that clear.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we could at least check it out, like survey it. Because what if something lives there and it's going to follow us and laugh at us when we make mistakes?
I would be okay with that.
Okay, fine. To the tower, and then we go back on the path because we got stuff to do.
Persuaded her.
Spooky tower.
Not
High
even
five,
having to
Jessie.
roll. Yeah. You should at
I
least
high
make
five
a-
your mage hand.
Here's what you do:
Okay.
you split the party.
Right,
Half
yeah,
of
that's
you go
right.
back, half of you go this
I
way.
think, yeah, I think Kins is
Yeah.
like desire to survive is overpowering whatever she actually wants. So fine.
So what do you
All
guys
right.
want to do? Clearly,
So can you at least let me, maybe I'll sneak up to this tower rather than clomp up to this tower
Yeah.
and just see what we might see. What do you say? It's within eyesight, but it's like 200 feet, 200 yards? What?
yeah, sure. So you guys were kind of in like a low area where this pillar was. So you kind of when you take the the overgrown path to the left, you go up this little embankment, and then you can kind of get like a view of this tower in the distance. And one of the things you notice as you sort of properly get a look at it as you're starting to move towards it is that the land surrounding the tower, it's up on a bit of a bluff, kind of almost rising out of the swamp a little bit. But the foliage and the flora immediately surrounding the tower seems to have, it's not swamp flora. It's different types of trees. It's like, it's almost like it was landscaped at one point, but it is all very dead. Like it's probably not been kept up with. And the swamp has somehow not crept up on it like it has everywhere else. But the actual, orchard of trees and whatnot that are surrounding this tall tower is kind of skeletal and very dead. As you approach it, are you going by yourself, or is everybody kind of slowly working towards
I'd like to stay like 60 feet ahead or something so I can kind of scout with some chance of being
Sure.
quiet.
Yeah, go ahead and make a stealth check as you're, and you have pass without a trace on you still, so you can add 10 to that.
+10.
Woo-hoo. All right, so that's 23.
23. Okay. Yeah. So you've been in the swamp for you pick things up pretty quick, Vin. So you're able to like ascertain like which parts of the ground can you step on where you're not going to like slosh through the mud, and you've started to get the hang of this. So you feel like you're being pretty sneaky, and you come up this embankment, and kind of around this you kind of come around a grouping of trees, and you get a good look at this place. The ruined tower. It stands tall, black and smooth against the light gray haze of the sky. Beyond it, you can see the storm that rings the island continues its silent brooding. A copse of trees rings the wide base of the structure. Leafless and skeletal, the barren orchard stands in stark contrast to the muted greens and browns of the surrounding swamps. A path winds its way through the dormant gardens to a set of heavy oak and iron doors leading into the tower. The doors are closed. You don't see anyone around. What do you want to do?
So I don't see or hear anything.
Make a perception check.
Not quite as good. Oh, 20.
So, yeah, that's pretty good. You don't hear a damn thing. You're expecting to, and you're on guard. You've just been attacked by literally the ground itself, and you're kind of on edge, and you're tuned in. Nothing's moving. Surrounding this tower, there's not a bird in sight. There's nothing. It's very odd.
All right. Can I see the group?
Yep. They're about probably 30 feet behind you in the opposite direction.
I'm gonna wave. I'm gonna wave everybody up. And some
Hey,
type
Ben.
of all clear. Yeah. And then we can move to the door together. I don't want to like we all see the doors,
Wait.
but
Why are we going in?
because these people are gonna want to open the door. We're not gonna get this close.
There's
so they're not gonna
people
open
in
the door.
here?
No, I'm pointing to these people, Belrissa and Jeshi.
Oh my God.
I do have to say I'm a little bit like, Kins, look here. Do you see? Like the land is different, right? So the marsh, for whatever reason, is stopping. Like, are you sensing anything different about this place?
As Ben is saying stuff to her, can she look around and see anything?
Yeah, make a perception check, Kins.
Oops, wrong screen.
I'm going to give you advantage on this check too.
Okay, good.
With your with your kind of druidic senses are pretty like they're very amped up. That's one since you've stepped foot on this island, you've been kind of on edge a little bit, and that's gonna go ahead.
22.
22. Okay. So you look around in response to what Vin has asked you, and your whole life, you've grown up kind of in a non-standard sense in turn, from the traditional path of the druid, right? You grew up in the city, you worked to help Great Haven and whatnot, but you're not exactly the classic druid, or at least that's how you think of yourself, right? But you can still tell as you look around that there is no way that this swamp would stop encroaching on this landscaping, particularly given how aggressive you've seen it grow elsewhere, and just the way this is all set up. You immediately recognize that there is something going on here.
Yeah, you're right, Vin. This is a little bit odd. So I suppose if it won't take too long, we can go investigate this tower and see what's up. Larissa, you better not hit me or I will thorn whip you in the face.
I didn't hit you I have not hit you yet today.
Okay, we'll keep it that way.
Do you think this is magic?
Do I think that what is magic?
Like this tower and how the ground is different?
It is very strange that it's stopping here. It doesn't seem like it should be. So there's something that seems like that's preventing the spread. I'm not sure,
I
but
would like to cast Detect Magic.
What's the range on that? Are you guys like at the tower? Or are you still way back in the
No,
woods?
we're up at the gate.
okay.
well, Vin called us over. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
So you guys have
I'm
kind
Field of Dreamsing it right now, so I'm right on the edge.
Okay.
Right there.
Got it. Okay, so you're
30
right,
feet radius.
right on the sort of veil of like where the swamp stops and the decrepit landscaping of this ancient tower stands. Oh, there's magic.
What can I? Looks like I can
Tense like what?
see a
tide.
faint aura if I can see it, and I can learn the school.
The School of Magic.
Ooh.
It would be. This is digging deep in my dungeon master brain here. It would be, I suppose, illusion magic would be what comes to mind.
There's-
The aura is the whole thing, like everywhere. The ground, the grass itself, the trees, the path, the door, the tower, the stonework of the tower itself, everything. You're like Neo in the Matrix right now. Like literally everything around you is glowing with this sort of weird aura in response to your spell.
I will turn. Say, friends, I don't think it's a good idea for us to go into this tower.
Oh, really, Jesse? Oh, really?
Yes,
Now you
I
don't want
have
to go.
determined
What changed
Oh.
your mind?
this is all one big illusion.
This is
This is an
totally
illusion.
solid, and I'm gonna
is
bang
not
on
real.
like I'm gonna pat the wall, not bang, lightly pat.
It's definitely solid stone, and yeah, I mean, you touch the stone, and it's real stone, and you can even like
Poke it
kinda
with my hammer.
You can even you scrape at the grout a little bit, between the bricks with or the mortar rather, with a little stone, and it breaks off as if it normally would. This is, for all intents and purposes, this is a real stone tower. Yet it isn't. You're not sure.
I mean, can't we like? Is there some way we can look inside?
I
Yeah,
hate
did
to.
you sense any other magical thing, or is it just the aura of this place? Is there like a magical item inside that I might sense?
I'm gonna say make an Arcana check, Jesse. Which is
My understanding of Arcana is that it is intelligence based. This is good.
It is indeed. And this is a check for you who generally is perhaps not, you don't use this type of skill very often, and you don't know how to differentiate that type of thing, right? Or maybe you do. What did you roll?
14.
14. Okay,
Yes.
okay. So you get the sense of this illusionary magic that is all around you, and you can sense also within the tower there is a different type of magic, though I'm going to say you can't quite place it. That's about the limit of your detection.
So part of the spell is with my action, which is what I'm trying to do. I can see a faint aura around a visible creature or object.
In this case, it's inside the tower, so there's no
Okay,
aura
so I
that's
just
visible
sense
to you,
stuff.
but you
Okay.
do sense it. You can. It's in and up, specifically.
There is something magical in this tower, which might
gonna-
be. It could be helpful. It seems to be defensive against this presence here.
I'm going to ask Thorkim to take a look at the door, see if there's any kind of trap or locking mechanism on it. Would you be willing to do that, Thorkim?
Like,
Are
do
you
you want to
talk-
go in this, or do you want to
So-
fight the giggler?
You say that and there's no response.
Yeah.
Look, okay, I'm sorry. Can we? I don't want to be this person. Can we take a formal vote? I do not. I want to go see the ladies. That's my primary goal.
This could be them. They
I
could
don't
live here.
think so. I really don't
Definitely
think
not the
so.
ladies, but I am actually more intrigued now than I was before. I'm going to cast Dancing Lights again and just try to...
Just start dancing.
No, so Dancing Lights do
We're
not
just
dance,
partying
all right?
here.
Benadil is
Disco
so
ball.
bored, he just starts dancing to his
This
own
is
disco
for
ball.
Little
of dancing
globules
lights.
of dim light. All right, so 4 little globules of dim light, and
Oh
I'm
my
just going to try to
gosh.
move them in and around to see if any parts of the wall disappear, like I just want to kind of spread them out
Mhm.
across the wall and move them up and down and just see like,
Yep.
is this an actual wall? Can I move through it with the
Yeah.
light?
You guys have been here. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
You guys have been here a few minutes now. It is definitely a real wall. You've already determined that. This is real stone. It reacts, you can push on it. You can even chip at it. Everything about this stone is 100% real. The iron on the door is real. The oak, the worn quarter sawn oaken planks that make up the door itself and the rust of the hinges, it is all 100% real.
Wait, is this the wall to the actual building, or is it like a wall that surrounds
No, you're at the front
grounds?
door of the tower.
We moved up to the front
okay.
door.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we're at the front door.
So Thorcum's not okay. Well,
Is there? Wait.
I want to check and see if the door's locked.
It's not locked.
Like Thorcum's what? And I'm still
In
like,
fact,
Scroll.
Vinadil, as you put your hand on the handle, you die. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
The door
Yes.
the door seems to open
die we out.
like really easy. It doesn't open on its own, but for a second you're surprised because the weight of this door you'd expect a little more resistance, but the door opens freely, as if the hinges were well kept and oiled and the door actually or it pulls out obviously, but it seems to come out more quickly than you'd expect.
Yoshi instinctively goes,
And I have dark vision, so can I see anything with kind of advanced dark vision inside of this place?
Yep. Nothing's moving inside. You immediately get like a smell, like whatever's in there. This door probably hasn't been opened in a long time because you get this sort of like you're so entrenched in this just nasty, like mucky, sulfury smell that any other smell at all, it just strikes you, and it's this musty, like old. You just think old, like dust and like whatever's in there. Nobody's been in here for a long time. That's your immediate thought.
I'm going to move the dancing lights in there if I can. Just
Sure.
create a little bit of light.
Mhm.
See what else. Like, do we see anything?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
so-
put mine in there too.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh, man,
Dueling
party.
dancing lights.
Yeah.
They go.
I'm gonna activate my weapon to also shed light.
Awesome. Just maximum
I should.
light happens, and I'm gonna assume you crack the door a little bit so you can actually see.
Yeah. I'm opening the door. Yeah.
Okay, great. So you kind of like pull the door open, and you hear some rats kind of scurry from the light,
Ooh.
that have been in there. You look inside.
Babykins.
And what you see is, the first thing you think of is just like whatever this used to be, which is unclear, it's been closed down. You can see that there's furniture. You can't even tell what it is because it's got canvas sort of draped over it. You can see dust everywhere. The floor has a thick layer of dust on it, and the way you can tell is because there's little rodent footprints kind of in the dust itself that you seem to have disturbed them as you've shed a light on the inside. You get this whiff of just, like that mothball kind of old closet smell, as you pull this door open. And it's dark, but there are some slit windows kind of on the bottom floor of this tower. Tower's probably like, I don't know, 50 feet in diameter. It's pretty big. And the bottom floor, it's just whatever this used to be. It's like somebody shut it all down, closed the door, and never came back. That's your first kind of impression. But you don't see any creatures. There's no like spinning spiked wheels of doom. Like there's nothing that you think is even remotely dangerous.
Like, I'm going to look at Jessie and see.
I'm gonna pop
Can you-
another divine sense.
Okay. Well, if it's detect magic, I don't know how long that lasts.
10 minutes, yeah.
So do you have any clearer view of, did anything, you said you sensed something else in here.
Yeah.
Can you see it now?
It's upstairs, and there's a spiral stone staircase that wraps the right-hand side of the circular tower, going up.
No
to
other
the upper
magical
floor.
effects
But there's
in
nothing
here, Jessie?
Yeah, Jessie, you don't sense anything else magical outside of that initial illusion. but the other magic that you've sensed is above you.
Can I divine sense as well?
Yes. Your divine sense, which is an ability.
Celestial.
Yeah. Go ahead. You explain it.
No, it's similar to detect magic, though it's shorter, and it's kind of a good and evil detection. So celestial fiends and undead within 60 feet.
Yep. Nothing. Not even a blip.
As I'm comfortable, there are no dead things in here. We should go.
Welcome.
We
I
should
think
go
we're
check on
going
this magic.
inside.
I'm going in.
Elgidkins, do you want to stay outside with Thorcum? I can
Threshold.
message you if we need help.
Thorcum's like right behind Vinny now.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like,
I feel
where are you
like
going?
we can't separate. Let's just go.
That's the spirit.
It's not
I'm
the
leading
spirit.
in. I'm in.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I'll
Everybody's
sneak up the stairs if I can.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Make a stealth check, Vin. Is anyone not in the tower at this point?
I will begrudgingly follow them in. Not wanting to be in the swamp.
Thorcum has just left.
Yeah,
He's
I
with the
bet.
turtles now. He's gone. He's eating crab.
Do we still have Pass Without a Trace up? I guess
Yeah.
it's within an hour.
Yeah,
Hour.
so
So,
it would still be within the
25.
hour. 25. Yeah, cool. So you're used to like tiptoeing around this creaking wood of the the outside compared to that walking on this old stone, with the exception of the footprints you can't help but leave in the dust. You're like dead quiet, and you're making your way upstairs. You make it to the second floor. What you see up here is, it seems like this is sort of a storage area. There's not as much up here as you expected. In fact, most of this floor is empty. And certain corners of the room, you can see that there are just stacked, what look like old wooden crates. You can see rats kind of scurrying around, a couple of them. You can see a couple pieces of furniture with a canvas thrown over the top. What strikes you, though, is in one corner of the room, kind of on the opposite side from the stairs, you see a really tall something with a canvas thrown over it. You're the tallest one of the group, Vin, and this thing is a few feet taller than you are. It's hard to tell what it is, maybe a wardrobe or some piece of furniture, but it is placed in a way where it is impossible not to notice it.
I'm going to wave Jeshi up and move the lights in just to kind of 4 points of light to kind of give dim light to the whole second floor.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask Jeshi, can we find this magical source? I'm really hoping it's not that tall thing against the wall, but
That thing that's really no, it's not that.
okay,
It
good.
can't. Wait, is it?
Good.
Jeshi, whatever's under that canvas is definitely the source of the magic.
Then I have bad
Sensing.
news.
Yeah. Can you tell any more about it now that you're closer? I'm still not sure
Yeah,
what you meant when you
it's
said this
bigger
whole
than
thing
I
was
thought it was gonna
an
be.
illusion. But what's that one?
What is
What-
it?
Yeah.
Jeshi, it's about twice the height of you. As a 4-ish foot tall dwarf. It's about twice your height, and it's probably 4 feet wide at its widest. It's completely covered in a white sort of dusty canvas, but whatever's underneath it is pulsing with magic. You have not used this spell all that often in your life, but whatever this is, it's powerful.
What kind of magic, Jeshi?
Oh, powerful,
Power. What's
strong,
can you
also
kind of
tall.
school of magic? Maybe? Yeah.
Tall magic.
Yeah. Well, I guess the spell would still be running. This would still be.
That's great. That screech is
Yeah,
like.
man. Is it like a giant rat? Giant rat?
Yeah. Jeshi, I'm gonna say that the truth is I don't know. Out of character.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter. But for the sake of the story and keeping it moving, it's a type of magic that for you it means like you're gonna see something, like maybe divination would come to mind. Like you are going to be presented with something. Vision is kind of you're not familiar with these things, right? You're not a wizard. You don't know what this stuff means, but you just get this sense of like, this is going to show me something.
So yeah, Vin, I've had like, a couple of visions given to me, by the Forge Lord. And it feels like it's kind of like that. Like I'm gonna, like if I were to go at that thing and somehow activate it, it would like show me something. Could be good.
Yeah.
We could also still leave now.
It could
And
be
you
a
guys
war-
turn back and you
Could be
just
a-
see Thorkham's like the top of his face just kind of barely visible over the stairs.
Could be a magical wardrobe. A wardrobe that we open and go into, and in that wardrobe it's a whole nother world.
Oh.
Called Nornia.
Norvia.
That's some ridiculous.
Oh my
terminology.
gosh.
I'm just gonna look over at
Nornia.
Belrissa and say, "You want to see if your hand can at least uncover that thing?"
Oh, totally. I shoot.
I think we can be
shoot
at the
Skelly
ready.
hand over.
Skeletal mage hand kind of like moves its way over and gets a good grip.
And it
On
pulls
this
it off with a
canvas.
flourish if it can.
Last chance for a bad idea.
It gives it a spin, kicking dust up everywhere. It's just like as this dust cloud. It takes a second for you to actually see what's under it because dust has been flown up everywhere as this canvas sort of flies off to the side. But as your vision clears and you kind of cough it out, underneath the canvas stands this majestic, dark wood framed, absolutely stunningly beautiful mirror.
Oh no.
And you are all standing in different angles. Thorkham, even from your sort of like, peering over the stairs, you can kind of see it. It seems like a normal mirror, but every single one of you looks at this thing, and you get that kind of feeling in your throat a little bit, like, huh.
This is gonna be good.
Like puke.
Nope.
Wait, so
Like-
what do we see? What do we see?
Belrissa,
Do
can
we
you
see
cover
different
it? Can you
things?
cover it back up, Belrissa?
no, how
Can
do
you
you-
cover it?
How do
Can
we
you cover it
activate
back
it?
up?
Is anybody actually walking up to the mirror
No.
and looking at it?
Yeah.
No.
Belrissa.
No. I'm gonna
Walks.
grab Belrissa's arm.
Okay.
And, like, there's
It's
There's
a
no way
mirror,
this is a
Vin.
good
How...
mirror.
It's just a mirror.
I think you should go for it.
It's
You
a
know,
magic mirror, but it's fine. It's fine. Vin.
Jessie would let us know if it's undead type stuff. So
It's- look, see,
Belrissa.
it's
It's not evil, like the most
Or
evil
ev-
magic
yeah.
by far is shit that raises stuff from the dead.
It's not
Uh-huh.
evil.
And
It's
it's
not
not
an
that.
undead mirror. It's not a zombie mirror.
It's not that. That's the only magic I really don't like. Everything else, take it or leave it.
I will say though, if we're having Belrissa look at it and something bad happens, all of us have to go in, Thorkham, because we
Ooh,
can't lose
dibs on
Belrissa. We can't lose Belrissa. All right.
I voted against this plan.
Hey, Thorkham goes last.
part of
Who
me
goes
is
in a
thinking.
spooky tower in the middle of a death swamp?
Part of me is like saying, Thorka, maybe you could just shoot the mirror. Just shoot
No.
it before we get up there. No, yeah, no. I can't.
Isn't that bad luck?
Yes.
Melissa, I'll
The
go
worst
with you.
luck.
Let's look together.
Okay, I'm gonna link arms with Jessie.
All right,
Oh snap!
look together.
All right. On the count of 3. One.
Sure, you count.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Look.
I'm not looking at the mirror.
You step in front of the mirror. What you see inside is a completely different reflection of what seems like the same room that you're in, but it's not. The size is similar, the shape is similar, the ceiling is in the same place. You have the feeling that this is the same place, but it's not. Also, it's confusing. It takes you a minute to figure out what you're looking at. Along all the walls are tall bookshelves, just lined floor to ceiling with tomes, books. You can see tables covered in texts, parchment. You see another table, glass beakers and different instruments. You see another sort of bit of furniture in the back of the room, like sort of a lectern with what looks like maybe a spell book or something on it. Your first thought, Belrissa, you're taken back to your home in Great Haven, particularly the library of the Conclave where you grew up. Your first thought is that this is a library or perhaps a study, and whoever lived here or was, whoever worked or lived here definitely was a user of magic. You recognize some of the instruments and the tools and the different things around. It seems like some sort of wizard's study or laboratory or something like that. Both of you make a perception check as your eyes sort of like focus on the visage in front of you. The rest of you are looking as the two of them have not dropped dead, but you do see them both mesmerized by whatever they see.
10.
10?
The first digit of my perception check is a 2.
That's the only digit?
And that's the only digit. That's the
exactly
end.
right.
That is the end.
Jessie is...
Wait, doesn't he get default passive? Yeah?
Yeah, it's probably lower than that.
10.
Yeah, 10. Okay, so... and you rolled a 10 too, right,
Yeah,
Larissa?
so
Okay, great.
so 11.
Oh, 11. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, I mean, that's not... as long as it's not a critical failure, you can default to your passive, which is just 10. So you're looking around, and yeah, 10 works, right? So you're looking around, and you're just mesmerized as you're trying. You know how in a mirror you can kind of like get real close to it, and you can kind of like see further. And what's interesting about this is that you're seeing things that don't exist, and you instinctively, for the first time, you guys notice that they sort of, their glance pulls away from the mirror, and whatever you're seeing, the reflection in this mirror does not exist in this room. And as you're just instinctively kind of looking around, Belrissa, you notice that on the back wall, kind of all the way over, actually behind the stairs, where Thorcum is, there looks to be like a glowing rune on the wall in front of a stack of books. And when you focus on it, it starts to shimmer. You don't recognize this rune. It's a shape that you've never seen before, but it immediately starts to shimmer, almost going blurry as you're trying to look at it, trying to understand what it is. Like when something can't focus on it, and it starts to move, and the actual shape of the rune starts to stretch out, and in a few moments it turns into words. A set of text appears magically in the air, as if beckoning you to read it.
I definitely read it.
And I'm going to pull this up on our thing here.
I think.
Now, I'm going to also post this in Discord for those of you who want to read it later, since it's a lot of text. And then however you guys want to actually read it, I'm going to post this in the Sparrow's Corner channel where we post all our lore on Discord. If you're in chat and you're not in our Discord, it's super fun and active, and we geek out about D&D all week long. So hit !Discord. And why didn't that work? Oh, there it is. I'm trying. Come on. Work. There it is. Okay. So you see this magical rune sort of transforms into these words.
Should I look at the Discord?
You can either look at the stream where it's live for everybody, or you can look at Discord and read it from there.
You witness a slender elf rob a rich merchant bank, but instead of keeping the money for himself, he donates it to an orphanage that can now afford to care for the children. You know who committed the crime, and if you go to the town guard, there's a good chance the money will be returned to the merchant, leaving children in need. What do you do?
You all hear Belrissa read out these words, which is strange, because most of you are not looking at the mirror. So what are you guys doing as this happens?
So as I see Belrissa and Jeshi mesmerized by this mirror and like looking around, and then Belrissa starts reading stuff out loud, I try to grab them like away to move their gaze away from the focus. Like I'm pulling on y'all to like look away.
Is it true that I've looked away though?
Yeah, you can look away. You've not been.
Because I've been looking like around to see
Right.
what I'm seeing is different.
There doesn't seem to be anything malevolent or holding you to this mirror. But as you gaze in, and Kins, as you walk up, you see the same thing that Belrissa sees, and you suddenly realize what she's been reading.
Yeah, but she's doing this in this urgency of like pulling away and being like,
yeah,
okay, what's going on?
I think it's pretty easy.
All right, so there's I turn to Kins. There's like a library here. That's a fancy one, like a science wizard library, and there's some words on it.
Science wizard?
There's some words.
The words on the door. Well, they were a rune and they were blurry, and now they're words.
Yeah, but this almost is starting to reek of a test.
Yeah, but
I mean,
it's
we
an
haven't
easy
spent a-
test.
But it's like a morality test, right?
It's super easy, guys.
Yeah.
We would all do the same thing.
Which
But y'all
is-
saw things in the mirror.
You get back them. You
Wait,
give back the
Jeshi,
money,
Jeshi, wait.
and then you
You-
volunteer.
You saw things in the mirror that weren't there?
Yeah, so
I
there's
mean, they were in the mirror, but they're not behind me.
so it's like
Are
this
they behind me?
room, but it's like full of books and science things and wizard things. Like right there.
Okay. I have to tell y'all something. There's something very strange happening here. And so honestly, when I stepped onto this island, I saw visions. I told Thorcum a little bit about it, but I don't think any of it made sense because I was blabbering and it just didn't make sense to me. There was a giant tree, giant beast teeth, claws imprisoning me. I'm just very wary right now about what we're being seen, like what we're seeing and what's happening here. So if I'm just saying this because in case anyone else is experiencing visions, I feel like we should share that so that we know what's happening. But it's a little strange.
I haven't had any visions, but Kins, you were an orphan. If you were a kid again, and like you found out that somebody had
Kins is not laughing right now. This is Lynette.
stolen money and then given you that money, would you like be all right with the money, or would you be like, no, I don't want this money?
If I had money?
Yeah, somebody like stole a bunch of money and then they were like, here, Kins, why don't you have this money?
And they stole it from like a rich bank, like not like some average normal person. Like this person had plenty of money.
I mean, you know, there were some nights when I didn't have enough food to eat. You know, that's part of trying to survive. So if you're asking me if I would be okay with that, yeah, I would. Helping people who are in need, who don't have enough.
Huh.
I agree with Kins.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but you don't have to steal to help people who are in need, you know?
Don't you though?
I mean, I've stolen a lot, but that doesn't make me a bad person. Do you think I'm a bad person?
No. Do you think I'm a bad person?
No, I'm just saying that I have to, you know, people who don't have anything have to do things to survive.
That's true.
The question at hand, though, is does this wall thing think you're a bad person? Because we're inside of its place right now, and it's asked us a question.
Jay, I'm gonna walk 5 feet and talk to my hammer. And I'm gonna be like, hey, what should you do?
Nothing happens.
Hold it to my ear.
You hear the sound of the ocean, with the occasional ding.
All right, well, that was not helpful.
So this is a question that you both saw and I somewhat saw when I tried to pull you away. So it seems that we are being asked a question.
Correct.
I don't know how to answer it.
Questions
or if we need
deserve
to
answers.
individually answer, or if it's a group answer.
Do you want me to go first? I'll answer.
Jeshi, go ahead,
Yes.
Jeshi. Answer this
Okay.
question for us.
It's for me, like, I'll stand in front of the mirror again and I'll kind of glance at the hammer. And I'll be like, I would give back the money and then find my own way to help.
As you're looking at the mirror, Jeshi, immediately upon the finality of your sentence, it just disappears. And you see this trail of light just sort of like dancing in the air. Kind of reminds you of Vin and Belrissa's dancing lights as your eyes just instinctively follow it, and it whips around behind you. You turn, and on another end of the study, in the visage of the mirror, you see that little thing start to draw another riddle, another poem, another phrase, whatever it is. And it comes into view.
Guys, I think I did it.
A second question appears.
Wait, are we sacrificing Jeshi?
Yes.
Make it 3 for 3. I die.
There's no water here. Jeshi should be safe.
14 almost drowned out there.
I don't know.
That's true. That's true.
Team can't drown.
But yeah, but I could.
Oh man.
Okay, I'll read it out loud.
Okay.
Okay, I answered correctly, it told me. When exploring a cave near the sea, your party is alarmed to find that
What?
Vinadil has triggered a hidden trap that magically wedges him into the opening. The water is rapidly rising, and everyone will perish if he isn't removed. There is no means to move Vinadil that will also allow him to survive. What do you do? Go.
So as Jeshi reads this out loud, Kins instinctively like touches Vinadil to make sure he's like physically there and see if he reacts to that.
Yeah, definitely jumpy and starting to get a little creeped out. How does this thing know our names? Did we say did we say our names? Did we?
I didn't say my name at all.
Nope.
Okay. I'm backing up to where Thorkim is. I'm like, guys, I don't.
Am I the only person who's witnessed magic here? Kins made a storm be not a storm. Is that
Yeah,
knowing
but this
somebody's
thing
name isn't that high?
Do you want to know what really happened when I did that? I did the storm. I've never controlled a storm like that before in my life. Some internal voice spoke to me and said something. You have made the right choice. This is the way. I don't know, y'all. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, I would save Vinadil and not let us die.
How would you save him?
You just refuse the premise of the question, Jeshi?
Yeah, Michael Scott style. Yeah.
Who is Michael Scott?
Oh my god, I just figured your character out.
The inspiration was
Actually,
there
you have
all
a
along.
pretty good inspiration of a 8 intelligence.
Super high charisma, really
Super-
low intelligence.
Um,
It's great.
I mean, I can answer this one. We know enough magic that you can always bring one person back. So the answer is you have to move me, even if it means I die, and then you have to figure out how to get me back.
That's what I said.
Because we can't let the party die.
I mean, it was
Our
more
family has ways of
details,
doing
but
that.
That was what I was thinking about.
As you answer, it flares up, and the mirror gets super bright for a second as it disappears, and you see that same sort of dancing light, just sort of, like a cat following a small light. You're just trying to follow it as it moves quickly around, darting back and forth, and it goes to the opposite side, and a third riddle appears.
And I think you should read it. You answered the last one. It only makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Can you read? Can you not read?
Of course I can read.
Oh,
I'm like 3 times your age. I learned how to read
Of course.
before you were
does that
born.
mean?
All right. You're friends with a rich duke who is dying. His son is an evil coward who turns 21 at the stroke of midnight. Should this come to pass, he will inherit the lands of his father and all of his wealth and power. His daughter is a kind soul, but is a year younger and can't inherit the title unless the duke dies before his son is 21 and the title is chosen by the council. If you kill the duke before midnight, there may be peace in these lands. To wait would surely mean oppression and war. What do you do? Well, if this is my friend, then he knows all of this too. I mean, I think that's pretty easy. I think he would want to die as much as I would want to kill him. So I'll do him a favor, probably at his own request.
Wait.
No.
I feel like you shouldn't answer this.
Shouldn't answer this one?
Somebody else answer.
The
It
assassin.
could be a simple
Yeah.
matter of some poison. I mean, we could make it look like
If
it
he
was
dies,
natural causes,
he
but
dies. Away from the
but
mirror.
like
Dark
I
elf.
mean, I would ask the Duke what he would want to happen here. He's going to die anyway. If he knows he could sacrifice himself in such a way to save his kingdom, would he make that choice? And if so, I would be willing to help. But, I don't know. Maybe there's a different answer here.
I don't think you should kill somebody just to try
I'm
to
not-
prevent
He's already
something.
dying. I'm not killing him.
Yeah. You're just...
I might be changing the time period in which his imminent death happens, but I'm not killing him.
I mean, isn't
What is
all
that?
killing changing the timeline?
I mean,
Technically.
technically so. Like, we're all dying. Everyone's gonna die. It's just a matter
But
of
if it's
when.
just a little bit, it's okay.
Sometimes it's time for people before they think it's time. And
I mean, it is to save the kingdom.
But again, I would ask him,
back.
and I would let him make the choice. He's my friend. We would have a conversation.
Sounds very wise, Ben.
Yeah, but like, how do you know for sure that it's gonna be bad under this kid? Maybe he'll have a change of heart.
He is described as an evil coward, so I imagine.
I don't like cowards.
People don't change, Jesse.
No,
people,
I
people don't
kill.
change.
You
I don't kill
finish
people.
your answer, or at least the discussion, the closest you've come to an answer. The mirror shimmers. Instead of the dancing light, it snuffs out, and the mirror itself shimmers. And you can suddenly see the perspective changes, as instead of a reflection of this room, you see the entire visage change, and you can see what looks to be a very similar room, clearly a study of some kind. You can see books, you can see a desk, a small writing desk with a couple things on it. But the perspective has changed in a way that makes it seem like you can walk right through it. It's no longer a reflection. It's there. It's right in front of you.
I'm going to try to send one of the lights through it. Can I tell if it goes? Like one of the dancing lights, like one of the globules.
The light goes through the mirror and illuminates the study within.
Are there any lights on already, or was it pretty dark in there?
The room seems naturally lit, as if there are windows, though you can't see any.
And sun,
And
which I assume there is no sun coming into the windows in this place.
the room that you're in now has these really tight slit windows, so there's like this really vague, dim sunlight peeking through. But that room is very brightly lit, as if it's got big windows. Make a
What do
perception
you
check.
see, Vin?
I see what you see. Right,
Well,
we're
I
all
stepped
looking,
aside,
right? Okay, like, I'm definitely not going to.
Actually,
it's
Thorcum, make a perception check.
Thorcum's barely
From far
like his
away,
eyes. Are
just his eyes. All he needs is
Yes.
his eyes. That's all.
Well, that's the because he's the one who would notice details like this.
Oh no. Pulled into one of these. That's gonna be my passive 18.
18. Okay. So you're literally trying not to pay attention. You're like frustratingly like, but you can't help it. And as soon as that thing happens, the first thing you notice is because you're kind of like halfway down the stairs and the front door is still open. And the first thing you notice is that the light of the room through the mirror, it's the same temperature and brightness as the sun outside. And you immediately think to yourself, that's our light. Like that's the same light that's outside right now. Whatever's lighting that room is the sun outside.
Yeah, I stay put. Just where I am. I've had too many experiences with places like this.
I send Mage Hand to go. Bloop.
Mage Hand goes right through, and you can still see it. You still control it.
Okay, I'm walking through.
Ooh.
Gosh.
You die.
Right behind you.
Yeah.
Here she goes.
You walk through, and it's
way.
guitar solos just start ripping in the background. No,
We are on the island of Thunderstruck, after all.
you
Thunderstruck.
you step through this portal, Bellarissa, and it's as if you step through a door. Nothing feels different. The temperature, the ambient temperature, the humidity, the sounds you hear, everything is the same. And you suddenly realize there's a window to your left, and you realize that you are above where you just were. You can just tell by a quick glance out of the window. You recognize the swamp outside. You recognize the dead trees below. You even hear as Thorcum kind of like grunts as you step through this portal. You can hear them below you. You are above everybody else in a separate room, and what you see is similarly to the visage that you saw through the mirror, where the dancing lights were forming these riddles. This is the study of somebody who obviously liked to read a lot. Again, it reminds you of home. It reminds you of the conclave, where the scholars would spend hours and hours and hours in the library trying to cram these books down your throat and teach you how to use and control your magic. And it kind of like gives you this like kind of immediate feeling as you first see it. But looking around, there are bookshelves on the side, and in front you can see there's a small writing desk, and on top of that desk there's a leather-bound journal and a small piece of metal on top of it. Can't really tell what it is.
I'm gonna go out of view of the mirror, so everyone can't see me.
Okay.
Well, and I'm
then I'm
going
gonna-
in right behind.
Then I'm gonna jump. So I don't
Nice.
jump like like really hard, and then we go back in the mirror. Like, you guys hear that?
Thorcum probably would have heard that, but nobody else. It's pretty thick stone.
All right.
As,
I think
as
I'm
soon as
above
he's-
you. It's
As
fine.
soon as he steps out, yeah, I'm gonna walk through.
All right. So you walk through. You see generally the same stuff in the deal. You're in what is your immediate thought is
back.
this was the study or the sanctum of probably a wizard or some scholar, definitely a magic user, since you had to go through a portal to get here. But yeah, you see the leather-bound journal. You as you take a step closer, you see that what it looks like is resting on top of this journal looks to be a small key, or maybe like part of a key. It's hard to tell what it is exactly. It's brass, it's aged.
I'm gonna call back out to Jeshi can you still see magic things?
That spell would have worn off by now.
Okay,
Though
but
you
I'll
can
go through
cast
the
it again
mirror
if you
anyway.
want to. You'll what?
I'm gonna go through the mirror.
Okay. Yep. So the three of you are through the mirror now, kind of glancing around. Kins and Thorcum and 14 are still on the opposite side.
You want me to try to sense magic again?
I mean, this whole thing seems magic. So yeah, I mean, is there any? And I guess would you have sensed it? I don't know how this works. Jesse, like, would you have sensed it from down below,
Oh, of
or
course.
are we too far up?
No, I have no idea.
Yeah.
So I'll just cast it again. Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing magic that you sense with your new casting of the spell is the same magic on the mirror that you had before. In the study itself, everything seems normal.
Yeah, no, just the mirror. Yeah. What's that? Pointing at the metal thing.
Yeah, you take a step forward. It is the first thing you think of, Jeshi, is it reminds you of some old. It reminds you of dwarves. The shape of it. It's almost runic in shape. It's old. It's made out of old metal, like a brass or some sort of brass or bronze alloy, something like that. But it is incomplete. You can see that there are little markings on it where it probably has like it's just part of a greater whole. But you immediately think dwarven to yourself when you see this. It reminds you of designs that you've seen.
And I pick it up.
Okay.
It's like kind of reminds me of something that my grandpa has that he wears. I feel like it could be. Hey, maybe they made it in the mine, or like from the mine. This thing. I pass it to Vin.
Thorcum.
What about the book? Can I look at the book?
It seems pretty safe, man.
Yeah, so Kins is just like standing at the. She's not in yet, but I'm assuming I can hear everyone
Yep.
as if there were no like barrier or anything.
It's as if they're 2 feet away from you.
Yeah.
You can hear them.
I,
What are you gonna stay there, Kins, or are you gonna go in?
I shall walk inside.
Okay. And Thorcum, what are you doing? You still just hanging at the stairs? Rear
I'm
guard?
hanging out in that room, but I'm not going in there.
Okay. Cool.
What's
So,
the journal? What is the book?
So Kins, as you step through this portal, you see that they're looking at a journal, but your attention is immediately captured elsewhere. As you glance out the window and you see it, you see the tree for the first time. The view from the window is one of just immediate wonder to you. In the distance, it emerges from the scrubby canopy of the swamps, the massive crown of the great banyan tree. It stands twice again as high as any tree on the island, and its great branches spread for hundreds of meters in a cascade of aerial roots and impenetrable foliage. To those of you raised in Great Haven, it's almost an unnatural sight how large this thing is, but you can't help but be moved at the grandeur. For you, Kins, it's a familiar face, for this is the tree from your dreams, from your vision.
So Kins will, immediately seeing it, walk past everyone and towards the tree.
Okay. So you walk up to this window. It's sort of like almost like a full-length window. No glass. It comes up to probably knee height. There's not really any wind or anything like that here, but you get this clear sight. You can see above the swamp. You can hear above the canopy. You can see how far it goes. You can see where the swamp and the marshes start to transition into an open meadows. And then further on still in the center of the island, you see this massive tree.
Kins would like to reach out to try to touch the tree.
You reach out an arm. and you feel nothing. Nothing happens. You feel like something should have happened. You feel this. This is discomfort. Nothing happens. But when you look at it, you definitely, that urge that you had not 30 minutes ago to just leave here and get to that tree, it is stronger than ever. It is consuming you. And now that you can see it, it's right there. It's far. It's miles and miles and miles away. But you want more than nothing else to get closer to that tree. Jeshi, as you are looking at this journal, you open it up, and there's a lot of words. There's so many words. Do you want to read it, or what are you going to do with it? It's a journal with you're not big on
I would
reading
start with
typically.
the front page.
Front page.
Is there a?
There is.
Hi,
gilded,
this is Jeshi.
There's an embossed sort of print on the front of the leather-bound journal, and it's the same rune that you saw in the mirror, the one that sort of turned into all those words. You don't know what it means, but you do recognize it because you just saw it like 5 minutes ago.
Huh. That's it?
That's all that's on the cover. Yeah.
I'll just kind of leaf through it without any particular stopping point.
Okay.
I'll flip the pages.
So there's a handful of pages, and we're going to switch over again. There we go. And I'm going to post this in Discord. Stand by. There you go. You guys can read it on stream, or you can read it later on Discord. It's in there. I'll fix that image later. You pick up this journal and you begin to read through. It is a silly thing to leave your private thoughts on display. Instead, you will have my guarded ones, though I will be as honest as I can. If you are reading these pages, you have opened a door that was closed with great purpose. In the wake of the wasting death, I lingered for a time, convinced that I could find the means that I searched for in one of the tombs that line these walls, but I have read them all and I am no closer. You stand in my private study, at the top of a tower I built out of longing, so long ago now that I can scarcely remember a time before. It was here that I planned to live out the rest of my days, visiting with the scholars and spiritual leaders that came to discuss matters of great import beneath the banyan. They came too for the consent of the grove, for the blessing of Alara. No one comes anymore. The connection that this place once had to its namesake has dimmed and grown hazy. In its absence, an apathy begins to grow. The great calamity of this age has taken a terrible toll, and there seems little spark in the hearts of those that remain to rebuild. Better men than I will stoke that flame, though. If I can, I will make sure they have the recipe for fire. I believe that this was more than just a plague. It was no mere disease of the flesh. There is a shadow that burns cold in my mind, a vision of a dark past that eludes me. I will leave this place, my home, and hope to remember. I fear for the future, but I believe I must confront the past. For you, then, that have found this page, I greet you in absentia. Avail yourself of whatever you wish, anything that remains. Know that to pass through the door behind you, you've also passed the test. What that test might be, I'll leave you to discover. Atop this book is one half of the key you'll need if you wish to reopen the mines. I certainly hope the time has come to bring joy and hard work back to this island. You'll find the other half among the stewards. Another test, I suppose. Do good things well. It is how things get better. Signed, Raikkonen. And that is where we're going to end our session for tonight.
Oh!
Yeah. Oh, man. man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Exactly. Look at the
Squeaky
sound
rat.
alert set up. Oh my
so
god, yeah,
cool.
we need the squeaky rat.
Hey, there it goes.
Needs to be part of the ambiance forever.
That was awesome. That was super good. You guys did great. Before we bail, do you guys want to find another stream and hop over as a raid?
Oh, just raid it.
We'll just raid it impromptu. Cool. Just chat for a sec. Let me find something.
Big loot. Finish the night with a boss kill. Let's do this thing.
Yeah.
So typically we come in and we ask how their plan is going because, we are the bad plans peeps, but everyone has plans when they're playing D&D. Maybe. To what extent that they're good plans, we don't know.
All right, let's see here.
Hopefully they're having a lucky day.
Mm-hmm. Also, congrats to Madman on that giveaway.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. I don't know who this is. I've never seen these people before.
Who is it?
It's called Paul Dances.
Paul Dances.
Oh, yeah.
Paul Dances.
We can talk about the dancing lights. No, I'm just kidding. Partying
So
with
this
our
isn't-
dancing lights.
This isn't a D stream, I think.
Wait, is it
No, it's a D&D stream.
Yeah,
no,
yeah. It'll be
Dungeons
good.
no,
and
they're just
dancing.
dancing.
Dungeons and
They're just
Dancing?
going for it. Dungeons and dancing.
Oh, yeah.
We should make that. Let's just have a dance
I
party.
don't remember how to do this.
Yeah.
Do this on.
I think maybe the name Dancing Lights gave people the wrong impression of that spell. Like it.
It's a rave.
No, they're just like. I imagine like little fairy lights
I mean, I guess they could like.
that are dancing.
I guess they could be different colors and be pulsing. I mean, you could.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, why
Did we
not?
jump already?
All right, we're
Not
about
yet,
to
not
jump.
yet.
Hey,
All right.
Okay.
before we jump, thanks again to everybody. We had a huge crowd tonight. It's super cool. I'm so glad you guys stuck around. It's super late too. You guys stuck around for a long time.
It
so
is.
Thank you so much. We'll be live again on Saturday night. Usually we do an after show, so we just kind of talk and have fun and talk about, I don't know, all this stuff.
Oh, there will be
Just
things to talk
stuff.
about.
There'll be a
There
lot
will
of
be
things to talk about
talk
for sure.
You don't want to miss it.
on this one. So swing around, and if you're not on the
We're
Discord,
gonna have to deal with the trolley problem. We'll
All
solve
the
it.
philosophy. Don't
We're
worry.
gonna solve it. We're gonna solve it.
yeah, yeah. If you're not in Discord, definitely join us over there. We will again talking all week, and tomorrow we do Photoshop Thursdays. That should be interesting also. But anyway, thanks again, guys. Here we go.
Bye.